And we're live, right, Jacob?
We are live. Unfortunately, without Jordan today, something came up and he's not able to join us. But so hope everything's good. He hasn't
Well,
really
I'll
passed
I'll, I'll
away.
save my movie review then because I was gonna do a special movie review if he was here. It was this little movie I got in the mail called Hunter X that features a
Ah,
one Jared Owens for a quick cameo. I was gonna review his cameo and maybe review the movie, but I'll save
yeah.
that for when he's here. So,
I see. I was wondering what movie. I was like, we just did an entire tournament fights episode about wrestlers and movies.
well, you can't
Um,
link a movie collector to something on Amazon and have the movie collector just buy it.
Yeah,
That's just dangerous.
yeah.
that's true. Um, so, um, ignore that part if you're reading the description. Then we will not have a special movie review from Austin today.
Well,
Um,
I mean, Jordan's in it for 4 seconds.
4 more seconds than I've been in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Um, but we will be talking about SummerSlam, the event that happened last Saturday. We'll talk about Ric Flair's last match. We'll find a little if there's any other news nuggets that we want to bring up. And we'll find out who won the predictions contest. Spoilers: it was not me. I did
Spoilers.
terrible this time.
It was almost me. Almost.
Yeah, I was talking in the private chat. Well, the private chat, another one that Richie, Jordan, and I had because I knew you weren't going to be able to watch it live. And I was like, oh, it's going to come down to this tag team match, isn't it? And it came down to the tag team match.
It came down to that dumb tag team match, man. And we'll talk about it, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
I was
first,
fuddled by some things on this show,
yeah.
but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but first, you two have watched Ric Flair's last match.
Right.
So I will defer to you two on this. It's kind of the other big event that happened over the weekend. So why don't you two take it away and you two can discuss.
Well, I was at the previous last match at WrestleMania live in Orlando. I was there because I lived in Jacksonville at the time, and Jordan was probably there. There's a whole bunch of people there. And what a great last match that would have been, as opposed to this one, which was like a horror show, and it was something. But Richie, you could take lead. I don't want to spoil too much. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we put last in quotation marks, but it fucking better be his last match.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, he's gonna die. I thought he died in the ring. To be honest.
Yes.
There was time. Yeah, just from the opening. Apparently, he came on top of everything, top of his age and everything. He came in with an injury. He's got a broken foot. Apparently, got an amount. And he walked so slow to the ring. I guess the positives. I'll get the positives out of the way. Jarrett looked great.
Jarrett is like 55, and he was like the best worker in this match of the match. Like, I mean, I know like Jay Lethal was in there, Andrade was in there, but like Jarrett was like the best Jarrett you'll ever see, and we'll talk about Jarrett on another show later tonight, obviously, and how kind of useless he was in that match. But no, he was good in this one. He was a good heel, good old school stuff. Yeah,
I'm glad he came out to his old TNA theme, which is pretty good. I like that song a lot. And the entrance is really good. So yeah, Jarrett carried the match a lot. Did really old school heel things to kind of bide Ric Flair some time. But obviously Ric Flair was slow in the match. I think Jay Lethal and Andrade and Jarrett did most of the spots. There was one point where I think there's a spot in the match where it looks like they're going for a superplex, and then Ric Flair must have signaled to them, I don't want to take this move, I can't take the move. So they just changed it to a normal vertical suplex, and he just fucking didn't get up. he was just sitting there. And then he eventually sort of crawled to the apron, and then he went to get the because can't remember what Jarrett was laid out somehow, and then Andrade went to tag him, but he was literally lying down the apron. He's crawling, and then he's crawling to the pin, doesn't get it, and then he's still lying there. Andrade tries to put grabs brass knucks, tries to put on him. His hand is shaking. It's just button where his hand is shaking. then they're able to get him up, which is they prop him up, and he is able to hit the punch, and then he's down for a bit more, and then he locks in the figure four, but and then Jack doesn't tap, he gets counted down, but also Ric Flair's shoulders are down because he and I read his lips. He told Andrade he passed out. He goes, I passed out. What happened?
And people thought he maybe had died and had like a stroke or something, like legitimately, because he wasn't moving. Like they had to get in like paramedics to make sure he wasn't actually like dead. And apparently, he finally kind of started moving around. Like it was like the longest 3 minutes later or something like that ever, when they finally kind of revived him and he kind of got back up. And he was literally like, he spent most of the match when he was in there on his back or on the ground, them trying to work around him, which, give Jarrett and them credit. They played a lot to the crowd, they did a lot of like old school heel stuff to keep like the heat going, to keep, the crowd interested. They definitely like worked their asses off. But yeah, like even when he was like throwing his chops, there were these weird, like half just, there's like no motion to him, you know what I mean? It was just like Barrett, kind of, it looked like the delete stuff that Matt Hardy does. That's what it looked like. Delete, like he was like barely hitting them. I mean, the crowd was like trying to get him in, but it was just, you add his age to the foot injury, which, and Meltzer said a foot injury like that, it takes most young workers like a month to recover from. And he got this like 2 weeks ago. And he was trying to work this. He probably shot his foot up with Novocaine or whatever, before the show. But it was just like, honestly, I know people paid for it. It just, I don't know, man. It probably shouldn't have even happened. It just shouldn't have happened. He just should have made an appearance or done a spot or something. This whole, like, he was dead set on doing this match. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad it wasn't a one-on-one match, because that would have been a disaster. If it hadn't been at least a tag match with 3 other people in there to work around, that would have been a catastrophe.
I did hear that, like, rumors that he initially wanted to do a dive off the top rope or something, and Charlotte was like, "No, you're not doing that."
No,
because someone's like, "Yeah, he's been watching AEW and saw Sting do all this fucking crazy things. Like, I want to do that." No, it's like, no, it's like, Sting's still a bit younger than you are, and you should be doing it. So, and then he, like, the match is over, and he just cuts this weird promo, like just praising Kid Rock and all people. It's like,
and he's like, I'm gonna go backstage and party with Kid Rock, or it's just like, and it stemmed from Kid Rock, I guess, coming up to him backstage and being like, I got the night off tonight, Rick. Like, tonight you're entertaining me or something. It was so weird. It's just really cringy. Yeah. So his last promo, maybe ever in a wrestling ring, involves Kid Rock. It's so weird.
Kid Rock. Yeah, like, I mean, there have been people, like, the crowd of sort of legends. You had, like, at the front row, you had Undertaker, you had Mick Foley, Chuck McCool was there, but yeah, like, behind Undertaker was DDP. Bret Hart was there, who looked like, looking so like, what are you doing, man? So it was something. And then, I won't go into the undercard that much, but like it did feel like it was a crowd that was there for that match. So as a result, a lot of the matches on the undercard that you would, hold that thought. You talk for a second.
I got you.
I got knocked on the door. So.
No, you're good. No, I was gonna say, like, I didn't watch the whole undercard, but from what I heard and what I read, the crowd was a very like old school crowd, so they weren't really into all these like newer guys that they kind of packed into that card. They had all these they had kind of like some lucha matches. They had some guys from like New Japan, even a couple of AEW guys, different like 3-ways, 4-ways, 6-man tags, whatever. And the crowd just like, were respectful of them, but weren't really into them. They just wanted to see kind of the old school stuff. So if they had booked more of an old school match card, maybe with some more legends on it, or just more of an old timey kind of classic sort of, it was in Nashville, but like a Memphis style show or something like that. It probably would have gotten over a little bit more with the crowd who was there, because it was promoted as like a Jim Crockett show. Like literally the whole set was like Jim Crockett Promotions, and they cut over to the entranceway, and they've got like the old school, remember like the old school NWA TV setup with like the desk and like the thing behind it that said like WCW TV or whatever. And Tony Schiavone and David Crockett like were there in front of the set, and he's like, David, how's it going? Hey, Tony, and like they were like doing their thing from their little makeshift set over there right next to the entranceway. And like, so it was a very old school setup. And then like the whole undercard was like new wrestling, which is like, might have been weird for some of the people going to the show expecting more of an old style show. So, they should have had just maybe some like the Memphis guys book it or something, or just, had maybe a few more, old school. I mean, I think they had Ricky Morton and his kid had like a tag match, something like that. They had some of the Von Erich grandsons or whatever, like, on the show, things like that. They had, old school tribute style stuff, but I think if even they had have Jerry Lawler have a match with somebody, he could still work. He could work an old school match with somebody, just whoever, in a super old match. He's still working. Some of those guys who are still working, maybe put them on the card instead of trying to cram New Japan guys on this show that they didn't really care about. So
we'll say like the best match on the match on the show that you probably check out, because it was a match of the year on the card the other night. It was a Lucha Libre Fatal 4-Way, which the crowd weren't into it at the start. Didn't know who the guys were probably, but they're really into it at the end. It was Bandito, Laredo Kid, Black Taurus from Impact and AAA, and Ray Phoenix, and it was amazing. So just go check that out. It's really
well, again, a match that probably would get over like gangbusters on any given indie show in the country, like your average, GCW show or a PWG show or, Ring of Honor show, even, whatever. But like on this show, it was just like weirdly, just kind of there. So yeah, they should have just booked more old stuff.
It opened with like Motor City Machine Guns and the Wolves, and you think, oh, this is gonna be gangbusters, and then like Motor City Machine Guns came out, and I was like, this is a very tepid reaction. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
there was like some Motor City chants, but they were very kind of like, they weren't very enthusiastic. Like, Motor City.
Yeah,
because they weren't in the Motor City.
But it's like the chants I hear at Impact Wrestling sometimes. It's like sometimes it's like I feel like maybe during the ad break the producer's like, okay, chant this, because it's very
I remember going to I went to a few TNA shows back in like 05 to 08 because again I lived in Jacksonville, like, which is not far from Orlando, so me and my buddy would go down to the pay-per-views occasionally. But what we would do is we actually went to the park, because if you went to the park in the Universal Studios, they would let them in first before all the other people that waited outside by Hard Rock Cafe to get in just for the wrestling show. So they would let you in first. And then one time he had a leg injury legitimately, and he was like in a wheelchair, and they had this wheelchair section that was literally like eye level to the ring, like 6 rows back from the ring. Like, it was pretty awesome. Like, it was like the best seats in the house. And we used to see stuff like that. But yeah, my point was that they used to have the one girl, SoCal Val, would literally do that like off to the side of the camera. Like, she would literally stand there, and it was almost like an applause sign. Like, she would look at the crowd and go, yay, and then the heel would come and she'd go, boo, like telling people what to do, if they didn't know who was who.
I do feel like maybe it's a big issue I have with like, maybe, I don't know, like this crowd these days. It's like, it's not like they're not into it, like when they're into it, but yeah, it feels like it takes more for them to get into it. Like there has to be like, sometimes it's like they'll chant someone's name, but they're not actually into the actual match, and it's like, and then like the heel or whatever, or the babyface has to like kind of look around the crowd to actually get some. It's just like, yeah, you're supposed to like get it. It's like, I don't know, like the women's match on like a lot of the women's matches on AEW, right? There's like, like especially with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, immediately they'll just start saying Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and do the dual chants, but they're not actually into the actual match. Just like, but are you just chanting because it's like be polite? Like, if you're into it, just be into it. I don't know.
Well, I saw the opposite, and we'll talk about it on SummerSlam. There was a couple matches where people started "This is awesome" chants. I'm like, this isn't really awesome. I don't know what y'all chanting. This is awesome for.
I was very confused.
Yeah, I was like, no, this is not. I mean, this is like a match. This isn't awesome. This is a match.
Also, like, their reaction before that chant didn't indicate that they thought it was awesome. Like, are you just trying to chant something? Are you trying to wake yourself up? I don't understand.
They did one cool move. This is awesome. No, it's not. You got to earn that. I feel like you have to earn that chant. Like, if it's just been amazing action, or 5 minutes of incredible sequences or something, you got to earn that, like, chant in my book. It's not just like they do one thing and automatically the match is awesome. Like, I feel like that's one thing that's been lost over the years, like the actual earning of those chants, or those that just sort of praise or whatever. You got to earn that, but is what
I
it
also
is.
like the old school spot where like someone would have a sleeper hold, and then you would go like do the clapping.
Yeah.
But now the people just go at any point in the match. I'm like, who are you clapping for? I don't understand.
Well, then people put them in the sleeper hold, but like the idea is that they're in the sleeper hold for like 30 seconds, then you start the slow clap. It's like they put the sleeper hold on and the crowd immediately starts the thing, and it's like, no, this spot is designed, and as somebody who's been in the ring, is designed for them to catch their breath for a second and call the next couple of spots. Give them 30 seconds to do that. They're not going to get right back up. Give them a minute.
I mean, we could do a whole top 10 like pet peeves and fans and stuff. Like get the tables within 5 seconds of a match. Like, dude, you got to build towards that thing. You can't just get the table out straight away.
Well, yeah.
Crowds just know what they want, and they want tables.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes they get tables immediately and don't care. We'll talk about that in Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, where they just use them, and it's just we're just using them just to use them, and we're just throwing them around. But yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm sure we will.
Oh yeah, a lot to talk about with SummerSlam, which overall I thought was a great show. So I'm excited to talk about it.
I thought overall it was a pretty good show. Pretty good. I didn't think it was an amazing and great show. I thought it was a pretty good show, especially the first half was really good, and then the second half would kind of took a dive. But we'll talk about it. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good show. Yeah, I think it had some stuff that was cool, some of the stuff that you could feel Triple H's influence on, but I also feel like it was still one last remnant of this Vince McMahon era where there was some wacky stuff and a few weird decisions and just some things that was still kind of left over, so that we're still trying to transition. So we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's get into it. We'll kick the show off on the main card because there was no kickoff show. Oh, there's no kickoff matches. There was a kickoff show, but there were no matches. It was just the same preview videos that we saw before the match. That's one thing let's please, Triple H, I know you're listening because this is your favorite podcast on the internet. Don't or Stephanie, whoever's in charge of that part, don't show the same videos on the kickoff show and then before the matches. We don't need to see them twice. Okay.
Well, Dad, I don't need to see the same Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar video package that they've shown before every other Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. And when this is their 8th match, and we've seen the same one over and over, I get it. It doesn't need to be 8 minutes long. You can cut that down a lot.
If you don't have enough content to fill a pre-show, don't do a pre-show. Just whatever. I don't know.
Just start the show.
Yeah, there you go. You know what the match sucks. I don't know if the pre-show actually achieves the goal of actually getting new people in. People who are going to watch pay-per-view are going to watch pay-per-view anyway, regardless of the pre-show. The pre-show's not getting people in. So yeah, I just think it's cool if to get other wrestlers on a card to a pre-show do pre-show match, but that didn't happen. So I was like, if you're just going to have these panelists kind of regurgitate the same things and kind of have this unnatural conversation. Just that's boring. But if you're gonna get what they get that Paul Rosenberg, where his name was Sam Roberts, and then got some fun. But man, it's come across so fake. I don't like that. I know.
Well, you can't. It's hard to do. Analyzing what they do for football or UFC, this analyzing commentary for a not real sport. That's just always been very straight. It's one thing when you have play-by-play and color announcers during the thing selling the drama or whatever. That's fine. That's part of the sport. I get it. But when you're having to be man, who do you have in this one? What's their strengths and weaknesses going into this thing? It's just it's all prearranged, right? What are y'all talking about? This is weird.
Yeah, and usually whatever whatever they predict, I'm like, well, obviously it's the opposite of what they predicted then, because they don't usually they usually skirt around they're not usually told not to predict the actual winner of the match. So
right,
it's so I don't know who's actually tuning into. I gotta watch the pre-show. At least even though AEW has its faults of pre-show because they fucking still load heaps of matches there. It's well, at least there's matches there you can go, oh cool, I want to see that.
Yeah, I still think they haven't found that balance between too few pre-show matches, as we saw with the what was it, the Double or Nothing thing or whatever, and then with the Forbidden Door where they crammed like 5 matches onto the pre-show. Like they need to find that balance where it's like have like 2 matches, a couple of video packages in between sprinkled in, because I don't mind a video package here or there sprinkled in the pre-show. I really don't mind that much because it's a pre-show. The actual show hasn't started yet. 2 matches to get the crowd warmed up. Keep cutting back to the commentary, guys to run down the card occasionally, talk about how excited they are for the matches, and then you get the show started. I think there's a balance there you could strike. Yeah. So it's like, don't go too heavy on one or the other. Like have a little balance. Sunday Night Heat used to be the same way. Like they would run down, recap a lot of stuff from the past Raws and SmackDowns, show old stuff. They would promote one match at the end of Sunday Night Heat. They would always have like the Cruiserweight title match or whatever, something, they would have. And then, right, the final push, join us for, Rock and Austin, whatever, and then go to the show. Like it's one of those things. Like there's a way to do it. AEW is definitely doing it better than WWE right now, but there's a fine balance you can strike there.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it.
Yeah, we kick off with the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defeating Becky Lynch in just over 15 minutes. A match that I don't think was as good as their WrestleMania match, but a good match still. I think these 2 women have excellent chemistry in the ring. Some different spots than their WrestleMania match, and I think the right person went over. And let's talk about the match first. But I loved everything that followed the match. I loved it. But let's. I want to hear your thoughts on the match first, guys. So
okay, actually good. Yeah.
The match is great. The match was just great chemistry between the 2. I was watching it at a mate's place who's like also a bit down in WWE. Like he'll watch. He'll agree to watch the Big 4. That's why I watch Summerslam. But I think now this like new change up in the company has kind of reinvigorated him a bit. So and so he was sort of blown away by this match. It was really good. It is particularly good too because at one point in the match, Becky Lynch separates her shoulder, and she's getting surgery, and she still wrestled really well on one arm basically. And it was a really fun match. But I would probably say the WrestleMania match is a bit better, but this match is still very good and really a solid opener. And we'll get into it, but the stuff at the end was great too. And it was refreshing to see new faces. So it was solid. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good, solid match. Nothing that really I don't think there was any matches on the show that really blew me away or like, were top contender of the year kind of matches. But it was a good, solid match. I did like, Bianca wins and she genuinely looks happy when she wins. I think it's kind of funny. Like I can kind of see it in her. Like she looks very, very excited when she gets like a big win like that. Like she looks genuinely happy. So I think there's a hint of, authenticity in there, which there probably is. Becky, I always thought she looked a little uncomfortable being a heel, so I was kind of glad that they sort of did sort of the, it's unfortunate that she's hurt now, but, when they were kind of gearing towards more of her turning back babyface, I was more excited about that because I think she's a good, edgy, people were comparing her to Stone Cold, how Stone Cold is like an edgy babyface. She's not, Stone Cold was never like a run out there and high five and kiss babies, babyface, but he was a cool, edgy, guy with an attitude, but who you liked and who didn't take crap off anybody. And that's who Becky kind of is. So I hope that when she does come back, they stick to that. But I thought it was a really good match. I like the finish and all the counters stuff into her face buster finish. I forget what it's called, whatever it's called, her thing.
The KOD.
KOD, yeah. KOD, yeah. So no, it was good stuff. I liked the match, and then I guess we'll talk about the sort of multiple people that came in right afterwards. But I thought it was a good opener to get the crowd going. I liked it.
Yes, but yes, and then all the stuff after the match happened, and I am so excited for where the women's division on Raw is going because 2 people who essentially were on their way out of the company, I think, in Dakota Kai's case.
Dakota Kai was released, yeah.
And now she's back. And then Io Shirai, who apparently was, gonna go back to Japan based on some reports that I read. I don't know like where those reports came from. I just remember reading it somewhere. But now she's back, and Bailey has finally returned, who has been gone for way too long. But they're back, and I'm very excited to see where this stable goes, because I think these are three tremendously talented women, and I think under the right leadership, which I think they are under the right leadership with Triple H, I think they can do great things. I'm curious to see if they stick with Asuka and Alexa, which we saw on Raw the next night, as kind of a, if this leads to a 6-woman thing down the line, if they were just, there because they had, problems earlier in the night, or if there's still more returns to come, maybe a Sasha and Naomi return.
Yeah, they're looking like they might be coming back. So
I don't know if that's where they go, but I loved everything, and it was at that point where I was like, okay, this is going to be a Triple H show. This isn't like the final. There were some, but like this could be like a mainly Triple H show, because that was awesome. That was a great way to open the show. Great surprises, 3 returns that I was not expecting. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the returns now.
But Bailey, I was sort of I knew she was ready, so I thought it wasn't that surprised. But yeah, like seeing Dakota Kai in there who had been released, and I was like, I was sort of expecting her to maybe show up on Impact or AEW or something like that. But yeah, so that they worked something out with her, because like her and Bailey are really good friends apparently in life. So and then Io Shirai, who was as good as gone. Like I think the report was like she wasn't, she was going to leave unless she got a main roster contract. I think she wanted to prove her medal on the main roster, and because she wasn't really, just sort of just kind of spinning her wheels a bit on NXT. So yeah, and we should mention it's Io Sky now. Her name's Io Sky. They got rid of the Shirai, but like I don't mind the name change, but it's sort of similar. You know what I mean? It's not like a completely different name.
Well, I think it might be more to push a tag team of Kai and Sky, or Sky or Sky Kai, like trying to make them sound similar or something, they're going to work as a tag team, whatever. So
can they pay homage to Kai and Tai with their
Kai and Sky,
Kai and Sky,
Kai and Sky,
but also it's like not like totally removed from her name. Like she was called the Genius of the Sky, so it's not that bad of a name change.
It's not Walter to Gunther to Gunther or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not something stupid like that. Which, hopefully, by the way, Triple H, let the man come out and say he's Walter again and he's sick of this Gunther shit. Just let him cut a promo. Let him be Walter again, please.
Yeah, it come out like Dustin Rhodes did on in WCW. It's like, I'm not 7.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward. It's good to see. I mean, it's refreshing to see, like, as a, because like debuts that you get in the next one Raw, you get new matches. That was refreshing. So you saw, Sky and Bianca Belair have a match, but it was kind of like. I mean, we can talk about later, but Raw in general, the next night was actually pretty good. It was like, oh, okay, there was a different change here. Like people, like that throughout the years, like you tricky bastard. Hello.
You didn't come in with your popcorn, just gonna eat your popcorn and watch.
Damn Colonel.
You heard that?
Oh no! Did I miss it?
I didn't really do it.
Bonus features, though.
I teased it. I didn't really say anything much.
Did you watch the bonus features?
I didn't watch the bonus features.
I'm naming that more than I am the movie.
I was gonna say I was gonna review JPO's 4-second performance in the movie, but
I had lines and they got cut out for them.
They cut him out. Oh no!
Oh no! Was it your delivery or no?
No, it was literally like how much is this? Like, it was super generic the couple times we shot. And then
I was going to review the fact that I was going to be like, there was this one guy in the movie, this extra, who did a really great job setting something on the counter, man. It was just absolutely beautiful. It was money.
And the best supporting actor Oscar
It goes to. Yeah.
Yes. Cashier number 4. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or customer.
You'll be in best cameos on an upcoming tournament fight.
Yeah.
And Bailey.
Mhm.
I do get credit as Jordan Pierce Owens too, which I enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, from now on, when I think of cameos, it's going to go Stanley and then
Mhm.
Jordan Owens.
Yeah.
I'll take second place to him.
Well, since you're here now, what do you think of the opening match of SummerSlam?
Women's title, right? Bianca Bailey?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, not Bailey.
Bianca-
Bailey
Bianca-
later on.
Well, Bailey showed up. Yeah.
No, man, a good match. A great way to open the show here. I mean, we've seen them have some good matches here before. So, so at least, I guess I don't want to say surprised. It ended up being who it was, continue on with Bianca a little bit here. And definitely excited about the aftermath here. I like that it was a little bit of a Triple H stamp, maybe a sign of things to come. You've got, of course, the Bailey return, which I'm all about. Love me some Bailey here. Super excited to see that. Then, to me, the most shocking easily of the 3, Dakota Kai, as they even say on commentary.
Who got released? Yeah. Who got released at one point? So she obviously got brought.
Yeah.
She got brought back.
They say straight up on commentary, like, she's not even under contract. So, like, they call it out. So definitely the most surprising. I would have saved her to the end, personally, because it is the most shocking of the 3. Because it's a return, which was just inevitable. You know what I mean? Bailey, it's not a matter of when, but not a matter of if, but a matter of when for Bailey. Call up for Io Sky, which is now who?
Yeah, Io Shirai is now Io Sky. So yeah.
Io Sky, okay, and was Shirai.
We were joking about they were going to pay tribute to an old tag team and call them Kai and Sky.
Oh God, no, they will. Don't call them that. Well, no, Vince is gone. They won't call them that now. And then so great afterburn of that. Hard to tell if Becky was about to turn face because maybe now she's out for a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Good opener.
Did you watch Raw?
Yeah, didn't she hurt?
Yeah, but did you her promo?
I don't remember. What'd you say?
I think it's safe to say that she's a
baby face. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just going by typical logic of just because she said that this month, if she returns in 2 months, it could easily just her being a heel again. Like, I don't know. They don't always follow up. It's kind of why I'm like, we'll see.
I mean, we'll see. But I'm confident that like, I think Triple H sees her as more of a baby face, so it's like you're a baby face, and I think the crowd wanted her to be a baby face. She was fighting the crowd to be booed a lot. So,
she had a nice heel run. She's been a heel since her return from being a mama. So I mean, it's been an even year now. Actually, that's right. She returned at SummerSlam, so it's been a year of her being a heel. So obviously, she's the kind of person that's over enough to where her face would work.
Well, that's why the handshake kind of worked too, because you don't know. It's like, she got fucked last year when she went for a handshake and got pinned in like a few seconds. So it was like, it's kind of a cool nod back to that. It's like, oh no, you actually want a handshake. That's kind of cool.
And a nice little too, like kind of in a way. I don't know if this is what it was meant to be. Great long term storytelling too of, Bianca getting kind of that comeuppance too of, hey, you might have kind of bamboozled me last year, but I just won this year. You know what I mean? In a real contest.
Also, Bailey's pants had a lot of pockets.
I love my favorite meme or photo or whatever was those. I'm buying those pants next time I sneak candy into a movie theater because there's like 19 pockets.
Just the only reason to wear pants like that.
Soda.
Also, I just wanted to point out the entrance. There was no like stage on the show. Like they all came out of like that little like door. It was like the old Madison Square Garden entrance thing where they would come out of that little side door. There was no staging area, like a big stage and a screen and all that. It was just like that hall, like the thing, and oh my God, like this rampway. It took a long way to get to the ring. So
Triple H had to give Dakota Kai that nice signing bonus just so that he couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Undertaker was still wrestling, he would have taken 45 minutes just to get down the ring.
It took. Are you kidding me? He would have got there faster than Roman Reigns got there tonight.
Literally, I think his song played like
3 times.
Played all the way through before he got to the ring.
Yeah,
Roman
Reigns needs to change the song to like Freebird. That way they don't have to keep playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way to kick off the show, and then we move into what I think was the most surprising match of the night because I know we saw glimpses of greatness at WrestleMania with Logan Paul, but it was like, all right, is he going to be able to do a full match? And we'll see at SummerSlam. I think The Miz is a great opponent for that. And boy, did they deliver. Logan Paul defeating The Miz in just over 14 minutes, 14:15 according to Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is the best source on the internet. It's fact, because I just said it on the internet, and if it's on the internet, it's true. But no, this was another fantastic match, I think. Logan Paul pulling off spots I wasn't expecting, like diving onto The Miz on the table from the top turnbuckle. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting The Miz to get beat with his own finisher. Usually people kick out of their own finisher, so that was a nice surprise to see. Overall, I think a little clunky in the beginning, I think, but as the match went on, Logan Paul started to feel a little more comfortable, and I think it showed. And yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It's probably one of my favorites of the night. There were only 8 matches, but it's either my favorite or second favorite. I'm still unsure, but I think he delivered, and I'm a believer in Logan Paul. You can put him on any show, and I'll watch his match now. So, what do you guys think of the Logan Paul Miz match?
That was one of the slickest frog splashes I've seen in ages. Not even from a wrestler. That was an amazing frog splash. I think Montez Ford still does the best frog splash, but that frog splash was like a 5-star frog splash. He changed direction. It was beautiful. I was like, holy shit, this guy. I'm not a huge fan of him. I still think he should be a heel, but I'm not a huge fan of him universally. But man, I got to give him credit. He can go. And this match I wasn't expecting much of this match, and it was one of my favorite matches on the show. I think they worked together really well, and yeah, I'm looking forward to what he does next. Obviously, he's not going to be full time, but I'm keen to see what they do with them. But yeah, I think they have a decent asset on their hands with it, Logan Paul. I think actually, if he can keep his nose clean, if he doesn't actually, if he I don't know how he is these days, kind of personality wise, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, this match rules, and that frog splash was a thing of beauty. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, Austin, what did you think of the match?
Logan Paul needs to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and become Universal Champion. Dude, I swear to God, this was the match of the night. Logan Paul was better than most of the NXT 2.0 roster in this one night. And his second match in, he's better than almost that entire roster. He's awesome. It has a true natural knack for this business so far. It's not just, that he can do the moves and do the movements. He does the transitions well. He knows when to pause. He knows when to stop and play to the crowd. Just the general psychology he's pretty much already got down. That frog splash was, when they showed the other angle from the side, I was like, holy shit, that was a long way. And that could have been a disaster if he had missed that. Dude, if he had been half a foot short, he would have smashed on the edge of the table. It was that was a long way. And that was pretty great. The opening sequences were good. The finish was good. I know there was the little interference spots and everything with Ciampa and Maurice and AJ and all that stuff. But I think that just, was also to kind of give them, a chance to make sure they were good for the finishes and things like that, make sure they were on the same page. But Logan Paul is my new favorite wrestler. That's all I have to say.
I did like how, because I was always wondering why wrestlers don't do this, where it's the ref told Ciampa to go to the back, and Ciampa's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to. Make me. Yeah, why didn't every other wrestler in the world just think of that? Hey, I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm tougher than you. You make me. I'm not going to. I'm going to sit right here, and you're going to do nothing about it.
Gordon, what's your favorite match?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm fantasy booking Logan Paul for a Mania main event quite yet, like this. But no, man, with the dude so far.
Here's my prediction: Logan Paul takes the Money in the Bank briefcase from Theory, cashes it in at WrestleMania, and becomes Universal Champion in 2023.
I'm not totally hating it. Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of people here, very skeptical at first. His promos still aren't totally there, especially his early ones, but he's proved in the ring so far, and I think he's a relatively dedicated guy. I still don't love him as a human being, but like he's dedicated, he's put in time, and he's put in so far the performances here. His first big singles match, and like you said, a lot of his shit was very smooth here, and he really does have more personality than like again, I don't want to rag on him, but like a Dominic Mysterio. So he's doing pretty damn good for a dude that literally has 2 matches in. So yeah, I mean, I look forward to seeing more of him. Like you said, I think he could have a great heel run because I feel like people already are still kind of wanting to boo him. And I don't know I try to listen to his podcast. They're only good if I like the guests. I can't get into him.
Yeah, I watched his one. He actually had Alex Jones on like 6 months ago. That was entertaining just because it was what it was. Yeah, I saw a clip of Triple H on there, so I'll have to watch that. Yeah, it kind of depends on who it is. I can't just watch like his buddies.
Yeah, I'm definitely not
in podcast. No. If it's a good guest,
which he does have some good guests. Like he does have pull now,
right?
And in wrestling too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good stuff. If you told me at 6 months ago I'd be excited for the third Logan Paul match, I would have been like, "There's going to be a third, and I'm going to be excited." So yeah.
Logan Paul once had Brendan Shaw on his podcast, and it was the shortest podcast ever because he just cut him off and goes, "Oh, I want to go to dinner." So it's just like
I'll give him props for that then.
Yeah,
they totally made fun of him the whole time and made him feel like he not wanted. It was very funny.
Well, he had those Island Boys retards on there and like shit on them the entire time, so that was fun. So yeah, at least he didn't like put them over. He was just like, "You guys are idiots, like you guys are stupid. You'll be over in a minute." But yeah, like it depends on who he is. But I think this match guaranteed that Logan Paul will have a spot on WrestleMania. I'm not like I'm joking.
I mean,
I'm joking. I'm joking about like the main event or whatever. But like I think this guarantees he will have a pretty high profile match at WrestleMania. Like at this point, like they'll find somebody for him to maybe feud with for a little while off and on until then, and then pair him up with somebody. So we'll see what happens.
I'm calling it now. He is going to be the runner-up in the Royal Rumble.
I think he'll be in the Royal Rumble for sure.
He'll be in the Rumble.
I think he will be the runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
He is the last person the winner will eliminate.
Okay. I see. I'm okay with that.
I'm also surprised, like obviously, I guess because they always have Miz like work with like these sort of celebrity guys coming in because he's just good for that. But like it's interesting that they broke him up so quickly. I thought maybe like him and Miz would win the tag titles at some point.
I was surprised, that it was such a quick like. Okay, now we're going to the singles match, like one match in. But I'd kind of going off Richard real quick too. I do want to give props to the Miz too because it does take 2 to tango. So I think also I don't want to totally give all the flowers to just Logan. It takes 2 to tango, so definitely big props to the Miz.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So we followed that up with the WWE United States Championship being defended by Lashley, taking on Theory. Bobby Lashley wins by submission in just under 5 minutes. This happened.
Yes.
Again.
So what it should have been, a 4-minute squash. That's what it should have been. I mean, I don't
put it on pay-per-view then. Like, give me some better.
This could have been a pre-show. This could have been the pre-show match.
No, I think it was just to kind of make Theory look like an idiot. I think it was just like it was like
what we were saying. It's the Theory reset. Like it's like, okay, Vince was high on this guy. Triple H, I'm not high on this guy. Let's put him back in his place, back in the mid card. Lashley's gonna beat his ass and put him in the Hurt Lock, and keep his title. And we're gonna move on. Like that's what this was. This was a statement. Yeah, that's what I think it was.
I still could see him cashing in and winning at some point, but like I don't think it's anytime soon. I think it was like. Okay, it's like the cool thing about Money in the Bank is that we've got like a year or whatever to work things out. It's like maybe you cash in towards the end of your eligibility for the Money in the Bank contract. Maybe they haven't done this yet. Maybe he cashes in the day it expires and it wins. and wins the match. So like they got I was surprised not to see him on Raw, but apparently it's just due to like family issues or something. But yeah, I thought, I do think, it's obvious that maybe Vince isn't hiring him, but I still think that like Theory is going to be is a future kind of guy. It's just like it's not his time yet, and I think they got time to work that out. But this is pretty much a squash match. Look, mate, Lashley's one of the most over guys on the roster. I don't know why he's not in like a bigger program.
They're course correcting on Raw, buddy.
What's that?
I was saying you were saying not in a program. They kind of started that already on Raw. Like they really like showed how hard, like how prestigious that U.S. title is. So
I was saying at the top of the show, Raw was a lot better. Raw was great. I was like, what the fuck? It gave me confidence. I'm like, okay, we're getting in the right direction. Yes, the U.S. title. There was a thing about the U.S. title making it feel great. There's a new challenger.
A number one contenders match for a mid card title.
No way.
What?
Like a mini tournament, like qualifiers to the number one contenders match.
Yeah.
And the guy won it as a new guy from who just came up from the last few months from NXT. You're like, oh my god, we got a new guy. No, it was like.
Wait, you mean the challenger is a Triple H guy?
Yeah, no.
You mean he's trying to push new talent into new positions to potentially be stars down the line? Really? What a concept!
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is what it was. I think it was just like Theory's character's kind of a goof. I think this has just made him Lash look strong, and I don't even know why he was like put in this sort of. Obviously, he's got the Money in the Bank. Why would he want the United States title again? It's like you're going after something else. It's sort of my pet peeve in wrestling. It's like at the moment, it's like I think there's an obsession with double champions because it's like maybe like on the on the Ring of Honor show where it's like Claudio wins the title and then FTR retain the titles and then Claudio and Wheeler come out and they've already got the belts. Like, no, concentrate on that first. Like, you just won the world title. Wheeler still your title. Why do you want to go to the tag titles already? I don't know. I was just so I double champ things are all right, but I think they're overdone these days. So anyway.
Yeah. There's not much to say about that match. Lashley squashed him and beat his ass. Like, what else do you say?
This is why this is one of two reasons, Jacob. Don't you ever say this was almost as good as 2002's SummerSlam? Because this is just an unnecessary rematch.
Say that.
We never did.
I had.
Yeah, but I think also too, because Lashley's entrance is usually pretty cool, but because we're outside, it kind of they usually they dim down the lights and you see this big presence on this podium, and because they're outside, it just looks weird. I don't know.
It didn't look as weird as later we just pan back up to the entranceway and there's just a tractor off to the side all of a sudden when it was never there. Oh, there's just a tractor now, but we'll talk about that. But
they use that later.
Yeah.
And by the way, my exact quote that Jordan is referencing is, "Call me crazy, but I may have enjoyed that just as much as I did the 2002 show."
So you're saying it is good. You enjoyed it as much, so it tastes good.
No. I can enjoy The Godfather as much as I enjoy.
Well, you enjoyed as much then.
Well, if you shut up, I will explain. I can say that I enjoy. I say that I can enjoy a movie like Super Mario Brothers because I can enjoy the silliness and just the badness of it as much as I can enjoy watching a good movie like The Dark Knight or something. It's the same thing.
I can get the same entertainment value from Troll 2 as I can from Jaws.
But what I'm saying is
on a base in
Lashley
entertainment
in theory is not Trolls 2. Lashley in theory is a boring, overly long, Judd Apatow movie. There you go, Pez. So that's what I'm saying.
But it wasn't
bad
long.
It doesn't make it good. It's not like this was a clusterfuck hardcore title match where you're like,
No,
at least
no.
it was wacky fun.
Lashley in theory was like the
Rematch, that's
65-minute Master of Disguise movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this, and then the Ronda match, which we'll get to later. Like I'm just saying, those are the two low points. Well, O2 doesn't have anywhere I think near as those low points. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, there was another low point. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. There was 3 low points. But anyway,
Is there 3?
The match that wasn't a match.
Ronda. Anyway, I'll get to it.
Yeah, that's the second. What's the third?
The non-match.
Yeah, I don't know. What did you say? The tag title other thing we got to get to, which is
we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
I mean, there's also a gripe to be had in our next match, because the next match saw the Mysterios take on the Judgment Day.
Okay, I need to rant for a minute, and I talked about this in the chat. God damn it! God fucking damn it! I hate and don't get me wrong. This shit has been happening in WWE for like 25 years, because I remember going back and watching like another pay-per-view from like 2000, 2001, where it was like the Dudleys and the Hardys in a cage match, a tag team cage match, and they were making tags standing on the outside. And I was like, and I've seen table matches where they make tags standing on the outside. Like, what the F are you doing? Like, why is this a no disqualification match and you're standing on the outside watching your partner get their ass kicked? Why don't you go in there and do something about it? The referee's not going to do anything.
Was there any no DQ part of it other than Edge's interference? Was there any?
That was my problem with it. Is because they did a new no DQ concept, and then there was a couple of things. There was a cool sliding spot with Ray with the chair, and like hitting. And I was like, yeah, but they literally had the concept in place just so Edge could come in.
So Edge had a reason to not get.
So why is Rhea Ripley not interfering from the opening bell with chairs or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, why is she not tossing chairs to her guys? Yeah. Why is anybody not immediately going for sledgehammers and whatever and just beating their asses? Like she should be interfering the entire time because it's no DQ. Like, there's no reason for them to just be standing there waiting for tags. Like, if your guy's getting beat down, jump in there and do something about it. Like, it's just silly. Like, and the chick referee, I don't know who she is, but like, she was also trying to like enforce rules, and I would have been like, F you, it's no DQ, you're not going to do a thing about it, go away, get out of my face. Like,
I wouldn't blame her for that, but yeah, no, the logic is just not there, and that's the problem with the match.
Yeah.
That was the thing that always bothered me with Earl Hebner refereeing like street fights, and he like tried to get involved, like, no, don't use the chair, like Earl Hebner, get out of the way. No disqualification.
How about it's not sanctioned? I can hit you, and there's no liability. How about I just hit you with this chair because they can't do anything about it because it's not on me. It's not sanctioned, right? So I could beat your ass right now, and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Nor the company. They've absolved all responsibility. Yeah, that was a weird thing at that match too.
Well, from a technical aspect, like, it's not necessarily a bad match. But yeah, even from the get-go, I'm like, why are they having a normal match? They built this no DQ. They didn't do much. It was there just to give Edge the interference. And even overall with this whole storyline, I started to care originally. Edge was cutting really good promos, but they broke up so soon. I was about to say Retribution. Judgment Day hasn't really had like a great, like, juicy win. So, and then I feel like Edge should have been gone longer too. Like, Edge is back now and is already getting his revenge on them. Like, such a rushed story here from the get-go, here's Finn. Finn's taking over now. Just everything is so rushed here. I just don't care. I'm sure they want to.
They're still coming out to Edge's new music. That's their theme song now. It's like, okay,
little things like that, and I'm still not really caring about Dominic.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, this it was just a match, but yeah, I don't understand.
Since taking Edge out of the group, they have not won a single match. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They won that Hell in a Cell mixed tag, and then they haven't won a single match. It's actually only been them and Mysterios too, and that includes main event and house shows. They've won 0.
And they took Edge out of the group in storyline wise because he was the weak link. No, he fucking wasn't.
Evidently, he's not, because he's the only reason you have a win. Judgment Day.
Yeah, if you're losing to Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, give him a win, make me care, and then have Edge come back. And like, everything has just been so rushed with this, from the kick out to his return to them not looking strong. It reminds me of Retribution, of like, man, you built this up just to kill it so quick.
Also,
Yeah.
the video package they're doing, it was making it so obvious it was Edge. It would be kind of cool if they kind of lent to, well, this could be Bray Wyatt, or it could be, something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, only
obvious
that
it was
first one was like, oh, I'm not 100% sure, but then by the second one I was like, okay, it's all people that just feuded with. Yeah.
Yeah, and they still title it on like YouTube and stuff. Oh, the mystery guy returns. Like, it's not a mystery. Like, it's Edge. We
Also, Edge,
we can see him
figure out how to
walking.
spell tonight. Come on, man. It's like a third grade word.
Yeah.
Like, had this not been billed as a no DQ match, it would have been.
Yeah.
I think it would have been perceived a little better. But since it was,
And if you're going to do that too, maybe don't even do the vignettes because it was so blatantly obvious that it was like, I return tonight, and before the no DQ match, where it's like, okay, so he's going to help him win, and that's exactly what happened.
Also, I think like with Edge and people like Edge and like Ronda Rousey, not being full time, they're always going to do these kind of angles where it's like, oh, we'll take them out so they can give them an excuse for a few months. But it's like eventually, it's like people are going to, oh, they're returning again. Oh, cool, they're returning. It's just going to get like diminishing returns all the time. They keep returning after a few months. I'm like, we get it. You're not full time.
No, yeah, I've even laughed at that where they're like, Edge returns tonight. It's like, returns from what? From June?
from his 2-week vacation.
Because he doesn't want to wrestle full time. Returns from being at home watching TV.
Edge returns. He was here last week. Like, what?
Yeah, they overdo the returns. AEW does that sometimes too, and yeah.
Well, and I always find it funny. Edge comes out to interfere in the match, but he doesn't just come out to interfere. They set up like a big staircase for him to rise out of the fire, and it's like, hey, I can only imagine the conversation. If this was real, what would the conversation be with the people backstage? Hey, I'm gonna run out, but pull all my entrance shit out real quick and hit my music and hit my pyro, and then I'll go. For once, I'd like to see them do that. And as the guys doing the entrance thing, like somebody gets pinned in the ring, and the interference is all for naught. Like I came out to help, but oops, I didn't get there in time. And then
that's also kind of funny too, the timing aspect of like, what if Edge just didn't know that? What if the match ended in 3 minutes? Edge would be like, "What?
Yeah.
I have a staircase ready.
Yeah. I was getting my staircase ready. How dare you? Yeah. What if the judge came out there and like grabbed Dominic, gave him some move, and pinned him right there 30 seconds into the match. Oops.
It's over. Get the staircase. Hurry.
I do like the idea too, because like the ramp is so long. Like maybe Edge was like, dude, went to Damian Priest, dude, just run after me. I'm not running. By the time I get to the ring, I'm going to be fucking exhausted.
Yeah. Just that was one of the actually, now that I think about it, when I was a kid, that was one of the reasons I found out wrestling was fake as early as I did, is I would always go like, man, how did he get the pinfall right before the show went off the air? That's crazy. How did they not know the match was going to go 45 minutes?
Yeah. AEW's got it really close several times. They're like, all right, here's the winner, good night. Like, man, they're lucky.
But they go to commercial and be like, how did the match not end during the commercial? That's weird.
It never does.
Never did.
Very early Raw did that like once or twice.
Yeah. I just, that was one thing I always questioned as a kid. I was like, hey, how did they do it right on time? That's nuts.
Yeah.
And was it in WCW where they would say, and if the match ends while we're on during the break,
or we'll catch it, or they'd be like, if the match goes past our allotted time, we'll stay with it as long as we need to. We got permission from TNT to stay with it as long as we have to, whatever.
I once or twice too, they also like gave it to you on Thunder too. Like, we'll watch it tomorrow to see how this ends,
Yeah.
Or in the case of Impact, they do a thing where you have a show and then they realize on the next Impact they don't have any content, so they just replay matches you paid for.
Shut up, Richie. It's still birds. It's
happened to me too, but I'd say
$20. It wasn't even a cheap pay-per-view. Come on.
So we've been talking about some pet peeves, and one of mine is, why do people stop like going after their opponent as soon as they hear music, especially if it's a tag team? Like, why doesn't one of them at least keep beating down the Mysterios while the other one is like, all right, well, if he comes in the ring, like, I'll be ready. Like, both of them stop and just watch and like, oh, who's coming out of the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
Who could this be? Like, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys were close to a victory. So if you just keep going
Mhm.
and
Hey,
you pin him.
hey, Damien, did no one tell you about the promo that aired earlier? Were you not watching? No one give you a heads up that like he's
Well,
coming
that
in?
or the logic should be if let's say that they were beating up Dominic or whatever in the middle of the ring and Edge's music hits, right? Like it'd be like, okay, so what? We're gonna keep beating up Dominic. If Edge comes in and interferes, they're gonna get disqualified. We win the match. So, or like, I mean, I know it's a no DQ thing, but if it wasn't no DQ, you're like, well, so what? Let them come in and attack us. They'll lose the match. We will win by disqualification. Right? So, like you're gonna cost your own guy's gonna cost it.
We get the winner's purse. You guys don't.
Yeah, right. It's just I don't know, just one of those weird wrestling things that we talk about. But
yeah,
Like,
AEW did it yesterday as well with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, where he had the chair around one of the Young Bucks' necks. I can't remember who, and he was going to go off the top rope and jump on it, but then Adam Page's music hits, and he's like, he jumps down anyway, where he could have landed on the chair.
Yeah, and he just jumps down.
Finish the idea.
He jumps down, gets him out of the ring, and
he's not going to be able to get there in time for you to stop him jumping. Like gravity works faster than
Cool.
Adam
How did
Page.
you watch this?
Well, the WWE thing, it doesn't have to be music. It's the WWE thing of like, oh, someone's walked in on the rampway. I'm shocked that they're here. I'll look at them for a while, and I'll get.
Yeah.
It's like he's not coming to the ring. Just keep going.
Yeah. Again, if he tries to get in the ring, the referee will probably stop him, and you can do something behind the referee's back and probably win. Then the referee will look at that person. You can low blow them, and then hit your move and win. Like that would be the logic.
That's the one thing I hope, it goes away for a bit when with Triple H in charge. It's like I want WWE wrestlers to be able to kick out of schoolboys. They can't do that in Vince's era. They don't know how to kick out of roll-ups.
It's the most dangerous move in professional wrestling.
How dare you try to make Xavier Woods? How dare you try to make Xavier Woods finish weak?
Yeah. All right, what was next?
Yeah, next was Pat McAfee defeating Happy Corbin. Just under 11 minutes. I have 10:40 here. Another really decent match. Pat McAfee continues to impress me in the ring. And this match I think did what it needed to do. It put McAfee over. I thought Corbin could use the victory, but I'm not upset with the result. Obviously, Jordan and I got this one wrong, but we got a lot of them wrong tonight. In fact, going back to the last match, Austin was the only one to get that right. The rest of us had Judgment Day where he picked the Mysterios. So, good on
I knew
you.
Heels faction needed to win. I'm sorry.
I just said this is WWE. They don't use logic, so I just figured the Mysterios would win.
Three things about this the Pat McAfee thing. One, I wish he came out with Seven Nation Army.
Why did he not? Where was the music? That music was awesome at WrestleMania.
He had a choir singing Bum Ass Corbin.
But they had the choir singing Bum Ass Corbin, and I think with the idea that the crowd would chant along, and they never did. They did during the match, but not like it's like Bob. I think they were going Bum Ass Corbin, and the crowd was supposed to go Bum Ass Corbin, but they never did during that thing. It was made it awkward. And then there was one on commentary, like Corey Graves and Mark Cole are bickering, but there's one like there's a couple of lines here digging at Vince. It was really funny. It was just like, oh yeah, I missed you, Michael. When you weren't allowed to talk. So well, things have changed for the better. I'm like, oh great. And then it was a good match, but obviously Pat McAfee botched Code Red, and I bet it could also be both of them's fault. But yeah, it's fine. It was good. It was a fun match. So,
this match was. It was fun, but it was sloppy. This match was really, really sloppy. Like Pat about died about 5 times in this match. Trying to jump on the top rope and damn near slipping and falling on his head. And still recovering. I also wish he would have had when he came out of the music. I was like, yeah, where's the Seven Nation Army music? That was awesome. And also it was good for the crowd because during the match the crowd would go like, whoa, 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 like that was fun. That was a fun rally cry for Pat. Like that was during WrestleMania. Made that match interesting. Like,
Well, that song has been synonymous with like soccer, football. That song is like the ultimate sports song.
yeah. So
But
let them have it. Like or at least for the big matches like this, like in a big stadium or something, it's a fun thing. Yeah. Well, and it's funny. Side note, but yeah, you talked about Michael Cole. Michael Cole was tolerable on the show. Like
he was great.
he was actually good, and like the commentary overall was improved. I didn't feel like they were trying to strain to like make say dumb shit like the whole time. Like I thought they were actually calling the matches, and they probably had bullet points that they had to hit, which again is fine, but let them like just commentate the match and just talk, and I felt like there was probably somebody in their ear, but it wasn't Vince, saying 900 things in their ear, over and over again. And Michael Cole, they probably just were like, hey, Michael Cole's been doing this for like 20 plus years. Can we just let him commentate and just let him, do his thing? And I kind of felt like he sort of was like, it felt like the days, when I kind of liked him when he was with Taz, like on the Ruthless Aggression, SmackDown days where I didn't mind him, like we just talked about with SummerSlam when he was tolerable. So yeah, I just overall I felt that difference. Like there was probably somebody there, but like maybe in Triple H or whatever, but they were just letting them talk. Like I appreciated that, that they were just being commentators.
And he seemed like genuinely excited when he was supposed to be excited. Didn't feel manufactured. Like he was really good. He's really good in the main event, which we'll get to. But yeah, he's like his excitement and his when he elevates his voice. I'm like, oh no, this feels like the old school like JR when you really get into something. I think he was really good on the show, and I've been really I give Michael Cole a lot of shit, but. Yeah,
I'm fair, and I'll give him credit when he's good. You know what I mean? Like, or when he's fine. Like, I'll give him credit. I gave him credit on the other SummerSlam, the 02 one. Like, I like him and Taz like back in the day. I think they were fine. As a team, they bounced off each other well. I think him and Pat bounced off each other well, and you can tell like I like the dynamic that Corbin was like full on in Corbin's corner, and like Michael Cole is fully like with Pat, and so like they genuinely like were rooting for each guy. So that was fun. I mean, yeah, I liked it. It added some of the match. Yeah, the match was sloppy. The finish was weird, but overall, like it was still fun. I thought it was enjoyable for the most part.
I did find it funny, like Pat McAfee goes over to Corey Graves and tells him to suck it. That was, I know it does make me like. I mean, I don't know if they're going this direction. I don't know if they should, but like Corey Graves is clear to wrestle. He can wrestle if he wants to. So I mean, do they go Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves? I don't know.
Mark my words. Next month. It's going to be a tag team match. Corbin and Corey Graves versus the other two. Am I right?
Michael Cole.
I wonder where you got that idea from.
All here, baby.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if they went, a Corey Graves versus Pat McAfee down the road. Like, I could see it.
Maybe it's like a showcase WrestleMania thing next year. They could tease it for a little while and do like a undercard match. Like that'd be all right. Just have Pat be like that part-time guy who wrestles every now and then if there's something, some kind of big grudge or something, or whatever, and let him do that. Yeah, they could build him and Corey throughout the year and like do a undercard WrestleMania match. I'd be okay with that.
And they've done two announcers at WrestleMania before with that great match between Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole.
I'm pretty much guaranteeing Pat McAfee and Corey Graves would be a million times better than that match. So yeah.
No, Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole never happened. I don't remember that at all.
Michael Cole is definitely not undefeated at WrestleMania.
No, I'm not remembering that at all.
Yeah. I do feel bad. Like Jerry Lawler never had a match at WrestleMania. He finally gets one, and he fucking loses.
Loses to Michael Cole.
Yeah. Former, this former like world champion, Hall of Fame wrestler who's wrestled everybody under the sun, and he loses to Michael Cole. It's terrible. Awful. Hey, Vince is gone, by the way. That's nice.
Yeah.
Jordan, what did you think of McAfee and Corbin?
I know you guys laid most of the groundwork here. I like him. I think he's a cool dude. I love him on commentary here. Like Pez was saying, I hope we do get more chill on the commentary. I was just listening to Freddie Prinze Jr.'s podcast earlier, and he was saying how the very rare times he was in Gorilla Vince would just be nonstop in poor Cole's ear, like nonstop. He's like, man, he would not let him. Oh no, keep reminding them of this. Say this, like nonstop. So hopefully that has chilled, and who knows? So anyway, but as far as the match, yeah, like you said, not as smooth as maybe like a Logan Paul, but like not everything has to be. It kind of looks like a fight here. So yeah, I mean, I was fine with this here. So yeah, I look forward to maybe. He's someone that even more so than Logan, I say sporadically, maybe throughout there. Maybe he's better suited to more gimmicky matches or like maybe like another like tag match than necessarily these one-on-ones, maybe. But yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah. All right, so we move on. Speaking of tag team matches, we move on to the undisputed tag team championship match where the Usos once again defeated the Street Profits, this time with Jeff Jarrett serving as the special guest referee, a match that clocked in at just about 13 and a half minutes. And I thought this was another really good match, step down from their Money in the Bank, but I think these two teams have really good chemistry in the ring. And I was hoping for a Street Profits win. I picked them. I think that was heart over head, though, because I just really like them as a team, and I don't want to see them split up yet. But I feel like that's the direction we're going, especially with the showcase of Montez Ford on Raw the following night, taking on Seth Rollins. But man, the Usos are great tag team champions. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. I think this match could have used a few more minutes, just because I think they're the two best teams in WWE, which I know isn't saying much because they have like.
Well, I know teams. Some people say the Usos are ones and they the twos. Some say that.
But I'm gonna let somebody else take it who has a problem with Jeff Jarrett not bringing the guitar to the ring.
I mean, I do too.
I do.
Oh yeah.
No, that's one prediction we all failed. Jeff Jarrett did not whip out one guitar in this goddamn match. There was not a single person got waffled with a guitar. That is a crime against humanity. Richie and I were talking about this before we went in live. Like, what was the point of having him there? Why this could have just been a referee. He literally was not there for any reason. He physically pulled, at the beginning of the match, them off the corners or whatever for the counts, and that was it. And then he was just a referee the rest of the match. It was just calling it right down the middle, not doing any heel stuff, didn't hit anybody, didn't do nothing, no stroke, no nothing. Why was he here? You could have just had Chad Patton there, this is so stupid. I just don't get the point of that. I don't know how you have the Street Profits literally come out with the Tennessee Titan cheerleaders and do this big entrance and they don't win. That's weird. Give them this big fanfare and they just don't get it. I thought this match was flat. I thought this match was super flat.
Yeah,
it was. I didn't get any spark out of this match at all. The other one was way better, and this match was super flat for whatever reason. I don't even know why. There's something that was off about it.
I thought the match Money in the Bank was way better than this one. I just thought this was sort of it was just a I don't know that didn't get to that kind of that
the next gear. Yeah.
It felt almost like a Raw match, and then but this was the match where it was the crowd started chanting, "This is awesome," and I'm like,
"It's not. No, it's not." What are you watching?
I'm not watching what you're watching. Apparently, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I wouldn't call it awesome. Just and then Usos just hit the one on Angelo and then did the pin. I'm like, well, that's kind of anticlimactic. I thought it was kind of at least there was more back and forth on the Money in the Bank match. I was like, okay. I mean, they did play it off like Montez kind of had this look on his face oh yeah, I'm done with this. So kind of thing. And then they're sort of playing it off on Raw where it's kind of funny. They're doing the paper scissors rock to see who wrestles Seth Rollins, and then then Montez just throws a referee in the ring. Everything looks good, but it was just I don't know. I just expected more out of it. If the idea is we're gonna do a free match because it's coming off the back of a really really good match at Money in the Bank, I was I kind of expected at least to be on par with that, and it wasn't. So it was fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jordan, what do you think?
Well, yeah, no, yeah. What a weird thing to have Jarrett there. Yeah, I think we all just as wrestling fans were well, if Jarrett's there, he's gonna do something with the guitar and lead to someone winning, whether it's a heel turn or whether it's just an accident, and then now it could have just been a ref. They're teasing the split up. I'm torn on it. I think you could go the New Day route, and even if you do split them up, just have them be split. They don't necessarily need to break up the team, but I also don't mind, good old Montez Ford push. I've been a fan of this dude even before he was a Street Profit. I remember seeing him on house shows and being like, this dude's got it. Like, you know what I mean? From day one, pretty much.
Day one-ish.
Day one-ish, baby. And and like you guys said, I like the match. We had probably not as much as some of the other ones that they've had. Like I said, I don't know if it's because they felt more bogged down to tell a story, like a certain story here. You had the very blatant, Montez getting a little mad at the count. You know what I mean? They definitely heavily put that home. I do disagree about the entrance, but then have a big entrance not winning, because you don't want to necessarily have that be the telltale. So, you have a big entrance at a big show, win or lose, so I'm cool with that. But like you guys said, I thought it was good. It's not their best match here. I'd be down for them to have another one, but give us some time, find some other teams.
Yeah, like the new and vicious Viking Raiders.
Yeah, they were definitely not trying to shoe the new and vicious Viking Raiders. We are the new and vicious Viking Raiders. Hey guys, for the new and vicious.
They even
Viking
called them that on commentary.
Wacky wailing inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky wailing inflatable arm flailing tube man. Let's just run it into the ground. Apex Predator, Randy Orton, Seth freaking Rollins. Let's just run it into the ground until they just say it all the time. So yeah.
All right, following the tag team, we had Liv Morgan's much anticipated first title defense.
I fucking hated this match. Anyway, keep going.
This match went exactly how I said it would, did it not? Ronda Rousey beat her ass and then she wormed her way out of it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but the finish was dumb.
But did she win? Should she have won?
On paper, she did.
Again, this brings me back to the U.S. title match. This does nothing for me here. This is why I'll give so much more props to Logan Paul than I will someone like Ronda Rousey. At least he can have a match here. I just feel like Ronda still sometimes Liv could have had a more competitive match. It's wrestling. You can figure it out. You know what I mean? If Rey Mysterio can fight Kevin Nash, you can have Liv actually pull out an 8 to 10 minute match with Ronda. You can. But instead, they want to, you got to make, and the ending was the really part that bothers me. I would have kept the ending, but except tap out part. You know what I mean? Like, if you wanted where it was all right, she got her ass kicked, but she got lucky with the roll up, and you know what I mean? It just happened to be her shoulders were down and Ronda didn't let go. Cool, but instead you got to do that 50-50 booking of, well, no, now Ronda still looks strong. And did you lose?
It makes Liv Morgan the weakest person. She didn't win. It's an unearned victory. It was
why should we be excited about Liv Morgan having a rematch with Ronda when Ronda beat the shit out of her for 5 minutes? She's no threat, no threat whatsoever.
And won the match. She did get screwed over. I know it's supposed to be a heel turn. I'm like, no, I feel like it shouldn't. No, she was justified in attacking me. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like it was just kind of bullshit. I hated it. It made Liv look completely weak as a champion. Just like Jordan said, I think if you had that thing where she doesn't tap, and then Ronda just doesn't forget her shoulders down. That's fine.
She got the best of her. She out wrestled her for those few seconds with the roll up, but no, instead you gotta still have Ronda look great.
Hell, if she was getting her ass beat for 5 minutes, and then they did that thing that close to the ropes and above the referee, she grabbed the rope because she was desperate to even get a win, just to get out of there. If Ronda had her in the arm thing, right, and her shoulders were down and the referee was down, looking at the count, but she used the ropes to hold her down for the count because she was that desperate to escape with her title because she was losing or about to lose, and she does that to give her the leverage or whatever to get the pin, and then you've got something, and then you can play around with that later. But you could make an interesting angle out of that or something, that she was getting scared so much that she resorted to cheating to win or to squirm a win. I don't know, something.
And I think you can only do the underdog. I overcome the odds and now I'm champion thing for so long. For it, you kind of got to push them as okay, they're a legit wrestler. They mean this. You can't be this person always flips herself into a victory.
How do you do an underdog champion? They're the underdog, but they're the champion. Like that's weird. That's always just weird.
It was like when Rey Mysterio was world champion.
Yeah.
They had him lose all the time. It's like,
so you're at the top of the mountain, but you're the underdog. Like that's weird.
He's the world's underdog, whatever they called him at the time. It's like he's world champion. Let him win.
Yeah, he's the champion of the world. He's the best wrestler in the world, but he's the underdog. Weird.
Yeah, so it's like you need to like eventually just be like, okay, Liv eventually just needs to have competitive matches, which I think she had like beforehand, like when she was no one contender and faced like Becky at like day one, but like she was and it was a really good match. But yeah, I do wonder whether they were worried about like it wasn't just a thing of can Liv have a good match? It's probably like can Ronda actually carry her to a good match, because obviously like she's had good matches with like decent like a 10-minute match with Becky Lynch. She's had decent matches on Raw where people can work. But maybe they're worried about like Ronda shouldn't be in a position where she should carry someone, so maybe they're worried about that. But I don't know. But still, like, there's a way to book the match without making Liv look like why would I care about it? She's not a fighting champion anymore. She fucking lost. So she lost.
Yeah, it was when it wasn't a fair fight. She cashed in and won over Ronda, who was like at her wit's end and won. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? But like when it was a fair fight and Ronda was recovered 1-on-1, Ronda is the better wrestler and the more badass. She's the stronger wrestler, and she did exactly what she said she was going to do. She kicked her ass for 5 minutes, and then Liv won on a fluke. So like, why should I care about a rematch when I know Ronda's going to do the exact same thing in a fair situation? Like why should I care? Like that's one of those weird things like in wrestling where it just like I don't know if this was if Triple H was kind of like stuck with this one, like what do you do? I don't know. It's just like maybe we just got to figure this out down the line or just work it out over the next couple of weeks. But he was in kind of a no-win situation here. It's like you want to root for Liv, but if she doesn't put up a fight, like why should I care? Or at least try, do something.
This reminds me of the 2018 program between Alexa and Ronda, where Alexa cashed in, but not on Ronda because Ronda was challenging for the title at Money in the Bank, but Alexa interferes, causes a disqualification, and then cashes in on Nia Jax to become the champion. Ronda, calls her out the next night, gets suspended. Liv cheats, or doesn't cheat to win, but taps out before the count of 3. Ronda, attacks officials, gets suspended. And you know what? 2 months, 3 months down the line, Ronda's going to return and win a squash match against Liv to regain the title, where she won the squash match at SummerSlam 2018 against Alexa Bliss. She beat her in 4 minutes to retain the title. I think it's the same thing over again. And I sort of like Ronda. I think she can be good in the ring, but like, let's be more original, be more creative. Like, let's come up with a unique storyline for Ronda, which I'm hopeful because Triple H is in charge now. So I'm hopeful that there can be something different. So I'm hoping that like this is the only similarities between those two programs, and it's not the same result.
Am I wrong? And then I've always thought Ronda's role should not have been as that of a full-time wrestler. She should have been like this hired gun. She should have been like this like badass that somebody uses occasionally, and like for somebody to do their dirty work. Like I sick this person on you. Like she's my pit bull. That I sick on you. When I want to like beat down somebody, almost like a China or something. Like I don't know. Like I feel like her just being like a full-time wrestler and being this dominant is something, but like if she was a non-wrestler, she just went in there and just killed people, as like part of like a hit or something. It would be kind of cool. Like it's strange, like the way you have to book her.
No, I agree with that. Because I think that's the problem, is that they're trying to find something kind of constant for her to do, but they also want her to keep that mystique. So you got to do weird things like this. So it does kind of kill it instead of just maybe having her be the occasional Survivor Series partner and a Mania opponent, or even a Raw like tag team partner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work always.
Yeah, and I just feel like she's just more suited as a heel, to be honest. I think like she's just like, I don't know, like she also never. I mean, it could be totally wrong. Just the way she comes across to me, she doesn't she doesn't like look like she's actually enjoying what she's doing, but she's just doing it for the. But even like on SmackDown, right? She kind of promo. And at this point, she's still a babyface. But like then someone yelled out like crowd something like, "Oh, you suck" or something, or said something, and she just couldn't ignore it. She's like, "Oh yeah, your mum failed you." Just like you're supposed to be a babyface. Like I don't know, like but like that was her issue. And like like you'll see, like she just couldn't like block out the negativity. I just think like it just gets to her so much. So maybe just go all in and be a heel, so you don't have to worry about all fans liking you and shit.
Yeah.
What I would have sort of done to make it more like just make it easy, because I think they booked themselves in a corner here. It's like you have Liv cash in on Ronda, but then Ronda gets like fast and pissed off with everybody, and then turns heel then, and just maybe to text referee and you guys have fuck this, and then she takes away. But then you do Liv for someone else, and which she can have a competitive match against, and then Liv wins. So you're not like going, oh look, how are we going to beat Ronda without them making it look strong? Like you could have like Liv beat someone like Alexa Bliss and it'd be fine. I don't know. Just
or do something like this. So Ronda wants a rematch, right? But Liv maybe contractually is like, no, I've beaten you twice. Like by hook or by crook, I beat you twice. I beat you for the title and I beat you in the rematch. Like whatever. On paper, I beat you. So you don't get a rematch. And then like Ronda's pissed off, so she just comes out on like one of the shows week after week, and maybe after other women's matches, goes out there and starts like breaking people's arms and is like, I'm going to destroy this entire roster until I get to you, or until you agree to a rematch.
Who is the face in your feud? Everyone's evil in your feud.
Yeah, well, they kind of need to be, because they're all boring baby faces. So you know what? Why not? At least it'll make for interesting television.
Like your whole feud is, I'm a shitty chicken champ. I'm gonna murder everybody. Yeah,
well, but then Ronda would be kind of like that cool baby face, like who's got an attitude. Like people like to watch badasses beat people's asses on shows.
You can have an edgy baby face like Becky. Like she wasn't like the one. It's like she would always go, I'm going to destroy you and do that stuff. But she had more of an edge to her. I think people. It's like the whole plucky baby face thing is like shaking hands all the time, kind of going, oh, I'm gonna try my best. I feel like maybe. Like I don't know. I personally, I just find it boring. I don't think it's just very 1980s. It's just like very. I don't know. I just find it kind of like I don't know. There's no person. I don't know. I'd rather someone with an edge to them than be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna try my bestest and then I'm gonna win. Yeah, and just like that's like
that's like so what Thunder Rosa is right now in AEW. Like I'm just gonna try my hardest for my family and I'm gonna win. Like it's just like it's so boring.
But also the problem with her is that like she's like trying to she's trying to do promo battles with Britt Baker, who's the best in the company, one of the best in the company, and she's made it look. It makes it look weak as. But anyway,
I'm just gonna try my hardest, and I hope I win. Just like nobody wants to see that. Somebody wants to see somebody goes. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna whip your ass, and I'm gonna break all the bones in your body, and I'm gonna take your goddamn title. Like the people, like if the other person's boring, the crowd is gonna cheer for that person. That's just a fact. Like they're just gonna think that's cool. Like they're gonna go for that.
And if you babyface, that's one thing for booking babyface having a lack of confidence. Like I'm just going to try my best, but it's like Thunder Rosa's a champion. Like it's just like you have confidence in yourself. I'm going to kick your ass. I kick everyone else's ass. I beat you.
Yeah. I beat everybody else for this title. I'm going to keep my title for a long ass time, and I don't care who you throw in front of me. I'm going to kick their ass too. Like that's why Stone Cold Steve Austin was a cool champion, because he's like, I don't care who you are, who you put in front of me. I'm going to whip their ass. I'm going to whip the next person's ass. I'm going to whip the person's ass after that, or throw me 4-on-1. I'll whip all 4 of their asses. You know what I mean? And sometimes he succeeded, sometimes he failed, but he still had that attitude. You know what I mean? Like I don't care.
Why, like, when he would stun like a baby face or whatever, people were like, oh, that's a heel turn. No, son, it's just like he said that
he's out for himself. He's out for his own business, and he doesn't care who's in his way and how much you cheer for them. I'm just going to kick their ass just like anybody else. Like there's a way that can work. Like you can make that work. Like it doesn't necessarily mean they have to be like babyface heel, whatever. Like it can be whatever it needs to be at the time. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, side tangent. We can move on. But yeah.
All right. Then we move on.
Hey, it's not our fault they booked this shit horribly. We're just talking about ways to get out of
it. Let's move on to the main event of the evening.
And boy, what a main event it was.
I mean, you also had, I don't know,
Riddle and Seth Rollins, ready to look like a geek.
Yeah, Riddle.
Oh
and
yeah. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, Riddle coming out. Yeah, that happened.
You were like, oh, well, who's Seth Rollins going to face? And it was just that segment. That was it. And it was
Oh, you mean that guy who you said was not cleared to wrestle, who just hops the railing, runs in the ring, calls out the guy, and gets his ass kicked like a geek? What a dork!
It's like, okay, fair enough.
All right, great.
This is another way of just like WWE. They shot themselves in the foot again. Like they built up this mystique. It's their fault that they built up the mystique of okay, Riddle can't be there. Oh, Rollins is tweeting how something's gonna happen, and Triple H is saying, "Oh, I got," and then it just ends up being this throwaway. Gets his ass kicked again. Like cut it. Like don't even do anything if that's all you got. You know?
Yeah. And also, like, if it was such a vicious beating like that Riddle took, why was he there next week? He should be selling it. Like,
he took one curb stomp. It wasn't even that much of a beating.
I know, but before, like, in storyline, they were like, "Oh, we're taking this match off SummerSlam because he had."
Oh, right, because he was so he couldn't. He was so debilitated that he couldn't do a damn thing. Like
as far as we know, is it true that he's not even hurt?
He's not hurt.
So take the unnecessary Drew thing, and then have an actual match. Maybe cut fucking Bobby and Austin. You got plenty of time to have a real match here. Because they did take away one of the more kind of unique big singles matches of the night, taking that away.
Yeah, I think they decided at the last second. Oh, well, actually, we want this match at Clash of the Wales pay-per-view, the Clash of the Castle.
Clash of the Castle.
So why? I don't know.
Well, then you could have had the match, and have the match break down to where there's like no winner. Maybe they just beat the shit out of each other. They're all over the place. They brawl into the crowd. The match gets thrown out, and it's out of control. And then you have to do some stipulation for the Clash thing. It's out of control. We can't control. There's security guards everywhere. We could have done almost the same thing because Riddle goes out to the thing. They have to like split him up a little bit, whatever. But they just went back to the ring and made him look like a geek. But like you could have just done like a match where the match breaks down. Maybe the referee gets hit in the skirmish, hit with a knee or something. They roll around to the crowd. They're in the front row. They're jumping all over the place. Like they just throw the match out. Fuck it. This match it's too crazy. We got to set some other rules for this Clash thing. Like the match just doesn't have a winner. Like it's kind of anticlimactic or whatever.
Yeah,
something.
We'll take that over what we got. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you just have like Seth Rollins versus someone who's not on the card, and then they have a match for a bit, and then Riddle comes in from the crowd after the match, and then attacks. Then they have a brawl. Boom, bronze if you.
I'm going to end in a DQ like that, but but it's still better than what we got.
I'm not saying DQ. I say Seth wins, but then right after the match, that Riddle jumps up the guardrail, and then they fight. So I don't know. It was just like, oh shit, we don't do this match, but we got time to kill. It was like,
and they cut Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey's time, but then had 15 minutes of shit before the bell rang, before Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar the match officially started, because we had an 8-minute video package. Roman Reigns took an hour to get to the ring. Brock Lesnar drove a tractor around for a little while. Yeah. They cut promos on top of the tractor, before they started, and before the bell even rang, it had been like 18 minutes before they started.
I don't want to hear a match got cut. Like if you cut it, that's your own fault then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I almost forgot that happened. So thanks for reminding me.
You'd be forgiven for forgetting about it because it was just like, what? That happened.
Right. Yeah. Now we get to the main event. Roman Reigns, the undisputed champion, taking on Brock Lesnar in Brock's first last man standing match. I was a little surprised to find that out when I was looking through his match history. I was like, surely he's been in another one with someone.
Hey, but no, he hasn't, and don't call me Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't talking to you specifically.
Well, then we're good.
Guys, keep in mind, this is their last match ever. Keep that in mind. This is their last match.
We're gonna find some way because we can't do champion versus champion anymore at Survivor Series. We're gonna get Team Roman versus Team Brock. It's gonna happen.
And then we loophole.
Yeah, technically it's not a one-on-one match. Yeah, it's Team Brock, Team Cowboy versus Team Bloodline or whatever.
I'd be curious to see who Brock would like what the recruiting process would look like for Brock Lesnar. Like, is he just like sitting outside the ring with like a clipboard taking notes?
He should have a lemonade
like-
stand. It says like sign-ups for my Survivor Series team. And be like, who wants to sign up?
Auditions here.
Just sitting, he's sitting at with his cowboy hat on, just sitting like behind a hay bale, like with a little clipboard, just like, who wants to sign up for my cowboy team? Just like fight the bloodline. Like, I don't know.
Go through auditions and have like random people return. Like,
Yeah, Zach Gowen.
Zach Gowen.
He's like, no, I ripped your leg off 20 years ago. Be like, you haven't grown that back yet? Get out of here. That'd be funny. That'd be legitimately kind of funny. That'd be a good callback. That'd be funny.
It'd be nice if they paid off the fact that what like is like, is Sami Zayn supposed to be like an unofficial bloodline member? Maybe pay that off and have a big feud between him and Sami Zayn. But I don't know.
That's why I thought Sami Zayn would win Money in the Bank. I thought there would be a fun story to tell there, but no, Vince went with his boy. But this match, last man standing, Roman takes. I think he might still be on his way to the ring, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brock drove a tractor because, of course, he did.
I'm a big country boy.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was a last minute thing and Brock saw the ramp and he was like, not walking that far.
Yeah. That tractor was faster. That tractor was slow, but it was faster than Roman Reigns walking to the damn ring.
I did like so yeah, Brock cuts he interrupts the ring announcer and cuts introduces himself, but then he throws a microphone and Roman Reigns catches it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they would have shown that angle on the show instead of having to see that later. Like that would have been cool. And then the little wink he gives him afterwards, like
it was good.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, this match was all right, but I feel like the crowd were tired at this point as well sometimes. So this is another one that was odd. The crowd were tired and they weren't like maybe popping for some of the things that they probably should pop up. But then like out of nowhere, it's like this is awesome. Like, but your reaction before doesn't indicate that you enjoyed it anyway. That was weird. Just out of nowhere. I think that's why I'm like, do people just chant this is awesome just to chant something?
There needs to be an in-between chant of like when there's a nutty spot, like Brock lifting the tractor up, be like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Or this is nuts. Like, I feel like there needs to be an in-between chant for a spot besides holy shit, like to indicate that, wow, this match just took a turn.
It's like on the Fatal 4-Way Lucha Libre match at Ric Flair's last match that people got into it and started chanting fight forever. I'm like, you don't want them to fight forever. You give Ric Flair's last match. Obviously, the table spots weren't. They were trying to table spots. Very anticlimactic. He gets a Uranagi to the table, and people are like, oh, okay, that was it. I think that the whole big spot where he lifts him up on the tractor, and then like it's like, oh cool, what's he gonna do? And he just drops him down. Even Brock had a look on his face like, oh, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I did when he does like the big spot where he's like, he tears apart the ring, and then the ring, and then you can see like underneath the ring. I thought it would have been so funny if like you see under the ring and Hornswoggle's there, just fucking dead. It's just a joke. Just like,
Brian and Vinny made a good point. When he lifted up that ring and it stayed up, that would have sucked for those people in the front row on that side. They couldn't see anything the rest of the night.
They couldn't see anything.
Paid $1,000 for the seat. Now I can't see they can't see the finish. Whoops.
I can't remember what match it was, but there was a chant in one of the matches where the crowd were chanting, "We can't see." I don't know.
What would it have
John
been?
Cena wasn't there, so
I don't know. Maybe one of the screens went off at one point. I don't know.
I can't think of what spot that would have been.
Yeah, I was confused. Again, like I think they needed all the gimmicks because people were like, well, we're not really interested in a Brock and Roman match again, so we'll kind of do all the gimmicks of the tractor and all that stuff. So but people will be more interested. I guess it worked to a degree, but again, I don't believe that that's the last match. We'll see what happens.
Mhm.
Jordan, what do you think?
Well, it was an entertaining enough last man standing match here. I thought a good little main event. They gave it some time. Over 22 minutes here for this one, almost 23. And it had memorable moments. You know what I mean? I think it was a fun watch. This is the first pay per view I had watched with my brother in several years. So we had fun with that. I thought it was fun, man. You know what I mean? Do I might glamour and see these two again? Not really.
No
But
one is.
they threw a little fun wackiness into this one here, and a couple moments that will ring out. This is a match that I will, at least for those two crazy moments, kind of remember. So why not? It was fun.
I do appreciate finishes like that. You know how the finish was like they just buried him in a bunch of shit, so he physically couldn't get up. Like I kind of like there's been matches like that in the past. Like I think there's a couple of examples, like that Bob Holly like Al Snow match where he wrapped him up in the chain link fence, so he physically couldn't get up and kick out.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, or the Mankind.
Yeah, I was
The
going to say
Mankind Rock thing, the halftime heat where he lowered the forklift pallet onto him, so he physically could not kick out. Like I appreciate.
That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought that's what they were redoing.
Or maybe somehow Roman turned it on him and like lowered the ring back down onto Brock so he couldn't get up, like or something. Like I know that would have been dangerous, but like I thought it was gonna be something like that. But like I at least appreciated that it was like, okay, we can't keep him down with moves, so we'll just bury him in a bunch of stuff and just lay on top of him so he physically can't get up for a 10 count. Like I thought that was at least like a callback to the premise of the match where it's like it doesn't really matter if he's unconscious necessarily if he just physically can't get up. Like it's not it's a technicality, but it is what it is.
And I think like there was a match Armageddon 2000, Jericho and Kane. Jericho
You just knocked the stuff over.
He just threw a whole bunch of barrels on him and he just stood on nothing.
Yeah, I mean, technically you win. I mean, Brock Lesnar did have a stretcher match, if you remember, with the Big Show one time, and he just carried him. He carried him on a forklift on a pallet over the line on the stretcher. So technically, he won the match without physically pushing him across the line. Like you went on a technicality as long as it's creative. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, there's like the maybe a pet peeve. It's not that much pet peeve. It's just like inconsistency with rules. Like sometimes some of the last man standing matches you see is if like someone's like going down for the count, and you go, oh, count, but then if the other person goes in for an offensive move or the person on the ground, the ref counts it again. You know what I mean? Starts counting again. Whereas so Roman had Brock down for the count, but then Usos come into other stuff. So but the ref was kept counting. Like continue to count. You should start from the start.
Well, if you were in a last man standing match and you could like put ether on somebody's face and make them pass out, and then just hold it on their face so they don't get up, like would that count for the count? Could you just like keep them passed out, for a 10 count, like while just holding it on their face?
I did like. I think there was a finish of I think it was John Cena and Batista. Where I think John Cena duct taped Batista's legs together, and he just couldn't get up. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but watch that though, because Biggie did the same thing to Sheamus, and Sheamus's feet easily and got loose, but he was still acting like he was tied.
Yeah, it's like we've had indie dog collar matches where they like tie them to their neck or their wrist, and the thing pops off, and you have to like reattach it. It's always embarrassing. It just like falls off. It's not good. What are you gonna do? You have to pretend like you still can't move.
Yeah,
I've had that happen before. It's always embarrassing. But yeah, I mean, it was entertaining for what it was. I just thought like Richie was talking about, the table spots were weird because it's like, what would hurt more? Roman giving a Uranagi on Brock like through a table, or just straight doing it to the floor? I think straight doing it to the floor would look like it hurt more than going awkwardly slowly through this table. Like to me, or to the crowd even, which is like why you don't pop for those, because it seems like the other one would be more devastating. But
it was just funny. The crowd were going, "We want table," and then he finally got it. Then the Uranagi, like,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, we may have wanted more than that.
We wanted.
we used to put effort into our table spots, or hold them instead of just throwing people through them nonchalantly like it's nothing.
We want another table. Get another table.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, pretty good show. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with this. I'm curious to see what they start building to next with Clash at the Castle. coming up in, I
Oh,
believe,
that was another
5.
part of the match. Drew McIntyre came out to remind the crowd he's going to lose to Roman Reigns in a couple of weeks. That was fun.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Hey, everybody, I'm here. I'm going to lose to Roman in a couple of weeks. Tune in.
Yeah.
Bye.
I've still got my
And-
sword for some reason, even though I'm not going to be able to use it because it's a sword. It can. Yeah.
He did start a chant for one of the kids in the crowd, which I thought was pretty cool. We got a Colt chant, so I mean that kid will remember that. So that was a pretty cool spot. There is a fly in here. I don't know how it got in here.
Jeff
But,
Goldblum.
What?
Jeff Goldblum.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I watched that a few days ago.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah.
Which I am excited to talk about, by the way, on Sunday at 6 Eastern. I know we're not doing plugs yet, but
we're gonna talk way more about your movies than my movies. I can already spoil that right now because man, John Wayne movies are boring. Anyway, spoiler alert.
But before we get to that, we have to reveal the winner of the SummerSlam
boy.
predictions. And by one prediction, it's not Jordan this time. It is Richie Goodacre. He has taken the SummerSlam prediction, so he gets to pick a topic for a future show. It could be as soon as next week. I don't know if he's already. Do you already have something in mind?
I've got something in mind. It's pretty simple. We did best.
Come on. Capital Combat with RoboCop? No.
You could. I didn't know there was a thing until you just said it. But no, I was thinking. No, like we talked about favorite tag teams. One of just favorite wrestlers in general. Like do 10 of your favorite wrestlers. That's it. Just to keep it simple.
All right. Are we talking current or all time?
It can be maybe do 5 for current, then maybe 5 for all time. Maybe do 5 for all time. Yeah.
That's I'm totally down with that topic.
Yeah, it's just easy.
I know Austin's disappointed with no Capital Combat, but
Capital Combat, no New Blood Rising, no.
Gotta win one, man. Gotta win one.
No,
hey, maybe with Clash of the Castle.
Lethal Lottery, spin the wheel, make the deal.
We'll do that eventually.
We got to do some of the great train wreck shows of all time. You know what I mean? That's always fun.
There was a show. I was thinking about, but you might think of it.
Come on, but Richie has to go and just pick like a boring topic of our favorite wrestlers. Like, just what a boring topic. But okay, I'll go with you. Oh, well, I wonder if we'll have any crossovers. Yeah.
Wait, would you? Do you want to keep the topic? Or I do have a backup. If you weren't.
What's the backup? I am
intrigued. Backup? I'm intrigued.
It is a retro view, but yeah, I was trying to. Because I do agree that there's more content to be talked about with train wreck shows. One of the train wreck shows I watched recently, NWO Sold Out from 19.
Oh my God, one of the great train wreck shows of all time. Oh, it's one of the greatest. Oh, there's so much to talk about.
I'm not against it.
It's a heel pay-per-view show that also features Eric Bischoff doing a hottest women contest. They're all fat broads. They're all the most disgusting women you've ever seen. It's got Eric Bischoff and like Ted DiBiase and somebody else on commentary just shitting on the wrestlers the whole night.
They're not sitting at a table. They're sitting on uncomfortable like boxes. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's the weirdest train wreck show. Like one of the worst ever. It's great, but there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. Come on, that's more fun. Come on, that's more fun than just our favorite wrestlers.
Okay.
I'm glad he didn't say it though. So our favorite wrestlers next week.
Because I give it up to leave it to you.
I mean, we could always do both.
We could. Like if we.
How long is it going to take us to talk about our favorite wrestlers, especially these crossovers?
I don't know. It took us 2 hours. We didn't even talk about any news besides the shit pay-per-view.
Well, there's a couple of things we probably should talk about still, but Look. I think we could do both, and it would still be around the same time.
I think from what I remember, it's a short show because like they had like almost no content for it. It was like December to December. It's like a 2 hour and 15-minute show. Like it didn't even run very long. And all the matches are like weird, like heel matches. It's all NWO guys except for like a couple, and it's all the NWO guys like going over. It's just very weird. Like it's just a very weird show.
It's a weird show. I would say let's do both. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's our show for next week. So yeah, that was our review.
So 5 non-active wrestlers and 5 current active wrestlers.
Yeah. 5 people who are in the main roster, just 5, all timers that you like. I assume maybe the all timers aren't.
Well, yeah, because like your all time can still be like your current.
Still, yeah. I mean, but
it could be wrestling, but more than likely, just because if it's an all timer, they're probably maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
because like a Chris Jericho could show up on somebody's all time, but they might not be like their favorite currently, even though he's still working.
Mm-hmm.
What game are you playing, John?
What year, Richie?
97. Sold out was 97.
It's 2:40. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Okay. I remember it being short for some reason, but I don't know. I think it's because they have a lot of filler on the show of like bullshit. That's just it. But it's all weird stuff you can talk about. Like I said, the beauty contest is something to behold. And everybody on the show is like drunk. Like they're all drunk, and it's just like they're all just. It's just a weird fucking show. It's a total trade wreck.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I think this will make an entertaining episode. It's not going to be the most. It's not going to be like the best pay-per-view, but I just think it's going to be entertaining. So if we do both, that's fine.
All right, well, we got our show for next week, but this was our show for this week.
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam, Ric Flair's last match.
There was something we flagged for this week we didn't talk about yet, but briefly. AEW bringing in 6-man tag team.
The trios titles, yeah.
You guys talk about that. I will be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, so AEW felt they had not enough titles.
We didn't have enough titles, and we need more titles and more pay-per-view title matches, and yeah.
I was going to say, on top of your opinion about trios, how do you feel so far about the Atlantic title? So far has been the YouTube from other promotions title, because so far it's just been Pac going to other, which in a weird way I don't hate that it's more of like a travel title. I guess is what they're going for. Because, so far it's just been footage on Dark of Pac in other companies defending. And then, we got trios titles, which I'm torn because, again, like I just felt like they might be kind of having up, but they do a lot of trios. And we're already kind of setting up the big trios of Page and Bucks versus Red Dragon and Cole. So that'll be a good match here. I don't know.
That's obviously going to be the finals of the.
I feel it won't be though. I feel it might be the opener because like it wouldn't be too obvious if like they were at the opposite ends of brackets and then they met,
Well, I mean, who could be the other potential winners then? Like if you were thinking about the trios stuff, as far as the stars.
You got best friends. You got Buddy Matthews and
the House of Black is like an obvious one. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure Dark Order. If it's a big tournament, Dark Order will probably be one of the rounds, not winner, but they'll probably be one of the entrants. So you got options.
Well, you got any combination of the Combat Club. Moxley, Claudio, and Bryan Danielson is a big trio for the Combat.
Well, I was going to say, no, take Moxley out because
Wheeler, Claudio, and Bryan.
For sure.
Yeah,
that's a sweet trio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could potentially do in a combination of like maybe Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, and maybe Penta or Phoenix. One or two. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if Pac and them broke up. Pac, Phoenix, and Penta still might be a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pac will be the champ. I mean, you do Eddie and Santana. I don't know if how long Santana's out. But if he's available for the tournament,
FTR with somebody, I guess.
Or FTR and Punk maybe when Punk comes back.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, down the line, there's so many options. Yeah, I'm trying to think like right now, right here, because again, Punk's a champ, even when he is back. So, but yeah, I mean, down the line, you can definitely have fun with trios. We can bring people from the outside. Team Impact, Team New Japan, maybe down the line.
Yeah.
I
don't hate it. I think we'll get some sweet matches out of it. But I mean, it is a matter of like, okay, how many are we at now? World, the two male mid carders, the two women's. The Atlantic, the tag. So this is 8.
The FTW title.
9.
the TNT title still a thing? Yeah, so that was one of them. Yeah. And then they occasionally throw a Ring of Honor like title match on there.
I was gonna say, don't forget too, they will
Pure
totally
and world titles.
Ring of
Yeah.
Honor, and you know what I mean. They did when Moxley was like the IWGP champ. Or
The only time a promotion ever had more titles was during the Alliance invasion of WWF when they had both the WWF titles and the WCW titles. There was like 13 titles grand total, on the shows, and everybody had one.
So you are juggling a lot. You know what I mean? Like so.
Yeah, speaking of juggling a lot, sometimes when you're juggling a lot and have a lot on the schedule, you forget about some of the shows you got coming up. Apparently, there's a Battle of the Belts coming up this weekend, which is fucking
that's the real quick build to that on Wednesday. Damn. By the way, our buddy who I believe is doing something right now too, JB3 will be in attendance over from Combat Wrestling Trivia. He'll be there. It's a Rampage and Battle of the Belts dual tapings. Battle of the Belts will be free taped.
Okay, so you've got Claudio and Takeshita with no build. Cool.
Yeah. Again, it's and I love AEW, but that is one of those, especially Battle of the Belts. Like that's another one where it's like I'm sure it'll be a good match, but I'm going in very lukewarm because there's been no build and they're both faces and whatever. And I don't see Claudio losing his first defense against this dude. So
yeah,
cool.
the only build, the only build that's been had is sort of like the. It's like like with Ring of Honor in the pure titles. Only the build that's been had is a mid card title, which is Wardlow and Jay Lethal.
Yeah, and even that's been a very brisk build.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like just going back to the Atlantic title for a second. I feel like that's gonna it's almost like Puck going, hey guys, like I kind of get like a bit jet lag going backwards and forwards between fucking UK and here. Yeah, let's have put that title on me so I can I can rest for you guys without leaving the country.
Yeah, I mean, in one way, like I feel like if they weren't such a big company, I'd be like, well, it's getting them publicity and like footage, but it's like you don't really need the extra footage. You don't really need the publicity. Like you're in a way, you're probably doing more for these smaller companies than they are doing for you. That's nice in one way, but at the same time, like, what are you really getting out of it? I don't really know if you are, but.
And they're like, "Oh, yeah, Park wrestled on Dark." I'm like, technically, I get.
You showed footage of Pac on Dark.
You put it on Dark. He didn't wrestle on Dark.
I mean, I don't know if it brings more eyes to Dark. Maybe that's the plus. Like, oh, okay, I'll see a Pac match with somebody I don't know, or maybe the IWC.
But didn't Wheeler Yuta defend the pure title on Dark one time too, or something like that?
Dark. These Pac matches are from other companies.
Right.
Wheeler actually has done it on Dark. Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, at the parties, they'll do a big match or even a feud sometimes. Sonny Kiss and Joe Janela had like an actual just Dark feud.
and Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon had a feud that was on there.
Oh yeah. Oh, and speaking of Dark, I want to get you guys. I don't even know if you guys saw this the other night. What's his face? Parker Bordeaux. It looks like is with AEW now. The former
he's been winning, so it's like he's been winning.
Joe Gacy. So the dude that a lot of people thought WWE was gonna love because he kind of looks like Brock and he's this big stocky dude. Yeah, he's with AEW now. He's in a team with Sean Daivari, who's now a backstage producer at WWE. Daivari's brother Ari Daivari, and Slim J, who looks like Master J but skinnier. If you know
Slim J, who my buddy Dagan wrestled with a lot back in the Wildside days, NWA Wildside, who's been around since like 01. And he was but in 01, he was like 17 years old, like wrestling. He used to do a lot of those early Ring of Honor shows in 02, like a lot of those scramble matches. They do like those 10-minute scrambles. He'd be in there. He's been around for forever.
You beat me to it, man. Yeah, I've seen this dude since the early 2000s in Wildside and the occasional Ring of Honor appearance.
We didn't even mention when the referee and everybody got beat, we got an appearance of Daivari and Jamie Noble in the ring. Did y'all catch that? As the attendants, helping out. I was like, oh, there's Noble and Daivari.
You'll see. I've seen Petey Williams pop up recently. We got a quick glimpse of Curtis Axel a few weeks ago. Oh yeah, it's always fun to be like, oh, look who it is.
Yeah, I used to always enjoy when like Dean Malenko would come out as part of the agents or Finley, like those guys would come out and be like, "Hey, there's Malenko and Finley." Like, there you go.
Oh, I wish they were wrestling.
Well, some people got such distinct looks. You're like, oh yeah, like when he wasn't AEW now, but when Pat Buck would break up things, like, oh, that's Pat Buck. There's signature red hair. I'm like, Pat Buck.
Pat Buck's another one that I heard that like he would like tell WWE like. guys, listen, like, I've had fun, but like, I just wanted to spend time with the family, and then like they let him go, and he was like, AEW, and he went like right there.
I think it's a producer thing because Dean Malenko jumped ship to go to AEW, and so did Sanjay Dutt. So.
No, wasn't Malenko just straight up released? Like, I don't think that was Dean's thing.
Okay, I mean, he might have opened the door, yeah. But Sanjay Dutt definitely kind of left one for the other.
Yeah. Hey, Sanjay Dutt now is 1-0 in AEW, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed. I thought like he was on a ramp. I thought he was actually going to like properly wrestle. Because I was trying to tell because my friend that I was watching with like hasn't seen much of him. Like he could go back in that. He was a fucking phenomenal wrestler, and he was just there in a suit. It's like, okay, fair enough.
I know. I think I did the same thing when like Abyss was in WWE for a second with AJ Styles when he was AJ Styles like consultant or whatever he was. I was like, I swear that dude's really cool. They let him do something. He just looks like a doofus accountant, and I'm like, no, really, he's
Like, no, really, go back and watch 2003 TNA. These guys had great matches.
Yeah.
No, I swear.
J&J Security, Noble Mercury could really go if they let them.
No, they were really great wrestlers. Yeah.
I was really hoping
J&J
Security would get a
like,
tag team.
Like I said, Malenko would come out like during some Mysterio thing, be like, "No, those two guys used to have really great matches like 15 years ago. Like, go watch them."
Actually, I got on TV right now is Malenko and Kidman having a fucking good match.
Oh yeah.
And a sold out pay per view, by the way.
He's another guy that shows up occasionally. Too Kidman, he works for WWE.
He's been there a long time. Yeah, after his first release, like he came back like 2 or 3 years later. And I think he's been there since.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that was our show. So, Jordan, you got anything going on?
Why are you saying it like that?
Everything going on, John.
I started a new job this week, so I was taking it easy this week. But we'll get back to some fun over on my other channels. The Pearsco will return with some trivia next week. Still uploading some new matches and stuff to the Pierce Wrestling channel, Wrestling Trivia as well. We continue. Almost done with round 1 of the King of WWE Trivia Tournament. It's been happening since January, but I never said I was going to wrap the tournament up in a couple weeks. It's in 2022, King. So I have all year, baby. I still got 6 months left. No, 5 months, 6 months. I'm bad for that. Whatever. Math is hard. And I always love popping up on here, talking to you guys. Looking forward to next week, seeing what's up with Sold Out. It's a pay-per-view I've only seen clips of. So I've never sat through it.
Boy, are you in for a treat.
It is one of the...
I wasn't even aware of the wackiness till a couple years ago because, like, I always just, I've seen the name Sold Out, and I just thought, okay. It did go for 4 years. Looking it up earlier, like there is several sold outs.
But no, the ones after that are like actual pay-per-views. This one was literally like, oh, we're gonna do an NWO pay-per-view because NWO is really hot right now, and it backfired completely and like splattered on their face. Like it's really weird.
It's an interesting idea that sounds like just executed poorly. Where it's like, why would anyone pay for this again?
Yeah.
Or
had it been successful, I think NWO is going to be a separate brand.
Yeah, keep going, right? Yeah.
NWO Nitro and then WCW Evidence show. That's the idea. But like it was one of the worst shows ever. So
looking forward to seeing that. Talking to our favorite wrestlers, Fantasio and Iron Mike Sharp. Spoilers.
Come on, that's definitely going to get the people tuning in next week. Richie, you got anything going on?
I'll be on tournament fights. I think the next one I'm on is Brian Nussbaum's top 128. It's interesting.
I think you're on the. Are you on the talk show thing next week?
On the talk show thing too. Sorry, yeah. Okay, before that, I'm on the talk show. Best talk show. Best talk show. That should be an interesting one. Just something we came up with like a few days ago, a few weeks ago. I mean, So that should be an interesting sort of deviation from like the original like movies, but it'd be fun. And then then I'm on talking Brian Nussbaum's top 128. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Disney on there, so I might have to watch some Disney. And then next week is also I think we can get to it this week, but I'll be on Jordan Owen's podcast doing getting down best Ben Affleck movies. I've got my list sorted, and then I'll be here. reminiscing about NWO Sold Out, which will definitely get people talking. Yeah, I honestly think. Yeah, I don't know if you know what you're getting into, like Jacob. If you're going in cold, you're like, what the fuck is this? This is gonna be. It is
See, I'm a big like old WCW fan, so I know all about this show. But like, and I've read and listened to the audiobook of like the rise or the death of WCW. Brian Alvarez's books, and like all this stuff. Like, so I'm deep into like old WCW stuff. So yeah, I know all about the show. Like I've sat down and watched it once. It was like a few years back, but yeah, it's something, man. There's I can't promise there'll be great matches, but there's something to talk about. There's always something to talk about with everything. So there you go. We'll get to some Russo eventually. Once I win one of these damn things, we'll get to some Russo. We're watching New Blood Rising at some point. It's going to happen.
Well, what would be the next prediction thing to do? It would be like, was it Clash? Would it be Clash of the Castle, or would it be someone else? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, unless there's another.
All Out
is in the first week of September or something like that.
All Out might be before it then, yeah. Yeah, so
I want to say All Out is like September 5th or something, or something around that time.
I'm looking it up right now.
They love going
September
4th.
Sunday, September 4th, and I want to say Clash was like September 6th. The 3rd, so it's the same weekend.
That's gonna be long.
So you'll have two chances to win.
Okay, so would it be a combined thing? Whoever gets the most predictions combined with both shows, like a running tally,
or like someone getting either two wins or at least two winners. No, we'll do that. The show in the first probably will be a big show because we'll have to do dual predictions.
Yeah,
and we'll have two winners that week, or someone will walk away big winner.
Yeah, somebody will get two shows.
Exactly.
Or we'll have two different people, and each can pick a show for that spot after that. So yeah,
I'm just afraid of you winning because you're gonna go. All right, let me look.
All right,
let me see if there's something even worse than New Blood Rising. I'm gonna look through the Russo archives and find something even worse. It'd be great.
I'm glad Heroes of Wrestling's not on the network.
But if it's on YouTube, you could definitely choose it.
I can always choose the WCW pay-per-view I went to, the very last WCW pay-per-view, Greed, in Jacksonville, Florida, where I lived, that I got a free ticket to. Greed, 2001. And it was like right around my birthday, too. Which is why I went and we got like a free ticket, comp ticket. 4,000 people in attendance. Woohoo!
Well, I guess also just for future reference, in case people want to pick it, like TNA often upload full pay-per-views on their YouTube channel. So, just
that might be cool. Actually, I don't mind going outside of WWE.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to WCW, so of course we don't.
ECW had some wacky pay-per-views too, so don't count that out. Half of their pay-per-view things would be like none announced, and they would just do matches, like impromptu matches. You guys would just be in the ring, and a referee would just roll, and they just start a match.
In the private chat, the entire Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view.
Oh God! I don't even think I could watch that. At least Russo moves. Like it's, man, I don't think I can do it. Yeah, we'll see.
Anyway. Austin, you got anything going on?
Well, just all the stuff on this channel, tournament fights, tier ranker fights. We'll do our show hopefully on Sunday. So hopefully you can tune in and check that out. And then tomorrow night, me and Jordan are going to do another podcast, League Now, and we'll be listing some of our favorite character actors in movies. And we'll be using visual aids as well. I sent Jordan my list so we could pop their picture on screen because it's got definitely one of those, I know that guy. That's what character actors are. So
basically a who dis round.
Yeah, who dis. So it'll be who dis with character actors, but I'll tell you who dis as they pop up on screen and what they be in as far as some of their more famous roles. So
what they be in.
We'll
use that for studying.
Yeah, so it'll be a round of that, us kind of just listing, like no particular order, just kind of we each do like a list of our favorite character actors that kind of pop up in movies. I'm happy to see that guy. That guy's great. That sort of thing. So we'll be doing that tomorrow.
All right.
He was.
Yeah.
Philip Baker Hall.
Philip
Yeah.
Baker Hall.
He might be on my list. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that guy's great.
All right. So yeah, definitely tune in tomorrow for that. What time is that?
It'll probably be around 10 o'clock because I got to work tomorrow night, but it'll be after I get home, probably around 10 p.m. Eastern, so you can check that
All
out.
right. So yeah, tune in for that. Tune in to all the tier ranker tournament fights.
Do you have any comments on YouTube?
No, I don't see any. No. Oh yeah. Donnie said that WWE is but it'll get better, which I totally agree with. He may have said that.
Anything else?
Oh yeah. He also said that it was a good pay per view for what's going on. So that.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
Yeah.
And then some delusional guy who thinks Jordan is awesome.
Woo! Thank you, Real Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, he was talking about the guy I do the other host with. He's saying Jordan Anderson's
Yeah,
awesome.
he got
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tune in all that. Austin and I finally returning to a podcast about movies. So it's gonna be a bigger return than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Which time? Every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be talking director blind spots. We each picked 5. The 5 I picked just for a little preview. I won't tell you the movies I chose from them, but I will tell you the directors I chose. The directors I chose were Tim Burton, Steven Spielberg, John Carpenter, Martin Scorsese, and Cronenberg.
Never heard of him.
So yeah, tune in for that to see what movies I have blind spots for those. So
Existence.
I forgot which one that Austin picked because we.
I'll pull it up now. It's like way down in my thing because we never got to the show from June 4th. So, oh yeah, I forgot. I still got one movie I gotta watch on Sunday. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about. So I also picked Scorsese, which is the one I forgot about, but I own it on Blu-ray, so it's cool. I got time on Sunday morning. I'll watch it. Howard Hawks, John Ford, Scorsese, Billy Wilder, and Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. So
I had to go more old school because I've seen most of the other guys pretty much big movies. I did. No, it's funny. I forgot to watch mine, but I still got time. I watched Big Eyes though. Sorry, I spoiled one of them. I watched one of yours because I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm done." Oh, I totally forgot about this other movie.
Oops.
That's fine. Oops, but I got time.
It's funny enough. I forgot my Scorsese movie. So I have to watch it still.
Okay, well there we go. We still got to squeeze one more, so it's a good thing we didn't do the show yet. Because we would have gone live and I'd have been like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to watch that movie." Oops.
Oh, by the way, never mind Scorsese.
Yeah, we'll have to skip you this time. But the next topic we'll do after that, I'll let Jacob know. We'll make him very happy. So I'll just leave it at that. He knows what I'm talking about. So yeah.
But all right, so yeah, that was our show tonight. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all those things. There's a Patreon now. Jordan created a Patreon. Not that Jordan, the other Jordan. He created a Patreon. Patreon.com/moviehero. There are tiers for that. So if you want to be a part of it.
Sorry, with those glasses, you generally do look like one of the Dudley boys.
He looks like Dudley. He looks like if you had like a mullet, you'd look like Big Dick Dudley.
Hey, speaking of the Dudley, you see Manson Warner is going to debut against John Moxley this Friday on Rampage.
Hey,
he showed a quick clip of his Battle Royal win.
Speaking of John Moxley, the guy who plays Hunter X looks like a backyard version of John Moxley.
Wait, review the movie. Wait, we're still on the air. Review the movie.
It's a movie. Shot on an iPhone.
The movie looks shot relatively. Those were nice cameras we had.
Sure. That was the thing that kept running through my mind. Hunter X guy looks like a backyard wrestling version of John Moxley the whole time.
Fun fact: Hunter X guy is an indie wrestler.
He looks like Moxley. Moxley's cousin. Yeah.
Shout out to Dan Leiden.
Hey, he had some good corn syrup blood effects. Lots of blood. That was fun.
Yeah.
And with that,
I enjoyed those scenes.
That has been Jordan. The
star of Hunter X.
And that has been Austin. Yeah. I have been Jacob. And remember, we're no doctors, but the oxygen doesn't go over the eyes.
Mm-hmm.